You're listening to M.T.V.B. Podcast. Movies, TV, video and board games. This show may contain swearing.
Hello and Merry Christmas to you on a brand new episode of the M.T.V.B. podcast, the podcast that talks about my four favourite subjects, that's movies,
TV shows,
video games,
and board games.
I'm your host Anthony, as well as most people know me as the Antman, and welcome to the final episode of season 9! Tis the season, guys. This is going to be a TV episode. We're going to talk about our favourite TV Christmas specials of all time, and I'm joined around the table by the guys that love to talk about TV Christmas specials. Introduce yourselves around the couch. Table even, sorry.
I have been rechristened as Captain Two-List.
Yeah! He's accepted it.
and I am Supa Mario.
It's me,
Mario.
And I am Heisenbyrne.
Festive Chris.
Brilliant.
Festive Chris.
Nice.
Humbug.
So Merry Christmas to you all, guys.
to you, yes.
We're all rocking the Christmassy stuff. We've got the hats, we've got the jumpers. Are we ready for the list?
Yes, I think so.
So, again, we want to start with, I said, obviously, Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you for hitting that play button. Give us a like, a share, a comment, a subscribe. It goes a long, long way for us, and we really do appreciate it. And thank you for being with us for all of season 9. And thank you to all you guys here for making it possible, being on the show, editing, filming, lighting. Thank you, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. So, let's go around the table and let's ask each other how our list was, starting with...
Hey.
Captain Two-List who?
Captain Two Lists.
Is there 2 lists this week?
No, 1 list this week.
Just the one, okay.
Well, I know, yeah. Very, very difficult for me. Picking out Christmas, what defines a Christmas special? And everybody's going to have their individual ideas about this. I was quite definitive about what I wanted to do. And pre-discussion to the show, we sort of refined the topic. I know what makes a Christmas special for me, and I've gone a little bit further with some of the content. So,
interesting.
Cryptic as always, yeah, but we'll see when the list produces itself. So, yeah, 1 list this week from Captain Two Lists.
Nice. So let's go to Mario.
Hey, it's me, Mario.
And how was that list for you, sir?
Yeah, like H said, it was a bit difficult. I've realised over the years that I didn't watch as many Christmas-based specials as I thought I might have done.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I did watch loads, but there was loads of stuff that I watched that was based around Christmas. So my list is a nostalgia for me. So it's stuff that I love, that's Christmas episodes, and we'll see how it goes. I may swap one out. But the most of the stuff that I watched, enjoyed around Christmas,
right, with
the family, those sort of shows.
Okay, pretty good. And then let's go to Heisenbyrne.
So festive.
So festive. Yeah, it was good. It was trying to remember the Christmas specials enough for it to be able to talk about, and I was able to find some of them. Some of them I already know off by heart. And there was a couple that I kind of like, does it count?
Oh, okay.
We're about to find out.
Can I squeeze it in? There's some that would instantly spring to mind.
Yeah.
But you just think, oh, God. Oh.
There are series that were always on at that time of year.
Yeah.
That always had a Christmas
everybody
special.
Talks about. So, I'm hoping that we've all kind of gone with a similar vein.
You wait. Oh, my number one is going to kill people. They're all going to look at me cross-eyed and go, what the fuck? But yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right, so obviously what we do is, before we do our top 5s, we come down with a few questions, and then we go into the top 5s and stuff. So obviously the first one's going to be, what are we classing as TV specials here? Are we going with what came out of Christmas, or are we going with shows that actually are based around Christmas, or both, or what were you doing?
Both. And I'm also going by what I watched traditionally
at Christmas, you know. So, and I checked to make sure one of them, and it come out at Christmas. So I was like, oh, sweet.
Okay.
So but it was traditional. It was like my mum always got the Radio Times. You know, the Christmas edition.
Yeah.
Yep.
I went to buy it last year. Do you know how expensive it is?
They still do it.
Yeah,
It's about £15.
Yeah, so I got the TV guide one.
I can't believe they still do it.
Yeah,
Crazy.
so you go through it, and it was like either film,
Yeah.
TV series, special, and you like,
So yeah, a big circle around.
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
you plan it with the whole family, don't you? You sit there and you go, oh, there's this special.
Oh,
there's
Land
this
Before
special.
Time's on again.
There's this film, there's this cartoon, you know, and it was just laid up. It was like before the digital guide. You know?
Yeah, the digital
Yeah, 'cause
guides.
we had the Sun. My nan would get the Sun newspaper, and it would have the seasonal TV guide in that.
okay.
As
Oh,
well.
yeah, the pull out.
Yeah, the pull out. So you'd have all that, and you'd be going through it exactly the same way. Highlight this, copy that. Okay, so we can go from BBC to BBC Two, and then ITV. Now we can go to Channel 4. Forget Channel 5. Let's go back to BBC One, and backwards and forwards through all the channels, and everyone picking what they wanted to watch. Always Star Wars in my era.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars was a Christmas film. It's
Yeah.
really bizarre, but it was always on at Christmas.
Well, Empire Strikes Back takes place in the snow.
Yeah, that's true. In Hoth, I suppose.
I kind of do that with Lord of the Rings because it came out at Christmas.
Yeah,
it's
it
not a
did,
Christmas
yeah.
movie,
No,
but they
no.
came out at Christmas, didn't they?
This is what I was going to say. I've treated this list. I've put the Die Hard effect onto this list.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
So
Shame John's not here for that episode. This episode.
Well, where are you, John? Where are you?
Oh, I know what he's
Christmas
doing.
needs you.
He's in a better place.
He's partying with Mrs. Brown's boys.
Oh, take that.
Wash your mouth out
Load
with
of
soap.
wank.
So, what is the Die Hard effect, may I ask?
Well, is it a Christmas movie? It takes place at Christmas.
Of course,
It's a Christmas
of course.
Yeah, I've applied that to this. So yeah, TV episodes that take place at Christmas were released at Christmas and have a Christmas theme. All of the above, I would probably say.
Okay,
Anything goes.
nice. And one last thing is with these ones you pick, if it doesn't spoil it, do you watch these every Christmas or? Because there's like, for example,
kind of
there's
do.
specific Halloween episodes of Simpsons I go back to and watch it every Halloween.
I think if they're
But-
on, and I must confess, I don't watch a lot of terrestrial TV anymore. A lot of it is streaming or it's after the event. So yeah, if I happen to stumble across it, then absolutely, yeah. If it's something that was on, I watched during my childhood or was particularly memorable during my formative years, then yeah, always revisit them.
Yeah.
One of them, you'd be lucky to find it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It is that old.
Okay.
It is that obscure. That
I'm intrigued about this.
That I think you would.
I think
you'd
I
be
got an
really,
idea. But,
It'd be really difficult to
Feels
find
like
it.
it should be on your second list.
yeah.
But the others, so one of them just rolls in the series that I used to watch. It's a great episode. It's got some of the greatest actors in it at all. And the others, like they just happen to be on around Christmas. They always put them on. Like there are Peach channels, Living, the old Dave and Bravo and stuff like that. They always run them in the background.
Bravo!
They always run them in the background. So like you've always got some sort of Christmas thing. And even like there was a time when one of them they used to run all the time on every channel. There'd be a series episode of this going. So yeah, I normally see something around that time, but I don't go out of my way to watch Christmas stuff anymore.
No.
It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
I watch what the kids want to watch, and the kids normally they'll watch something Christmassy, but it's never a Christmas TV show series episode.
Right.
But yeah,
A lot of it is now nostalgia because they're not really they're not making the series anymore, or so depends. They might put it on. They normally put it on like BBC or So I just still watch terrestrial at Christmas a lot. So
Well, it's a tradition, isn't it?
yeah, I tried to keep the traditions that we did.
Yeah.
So do the same. Watch just rubbish. But
That's what
good
Christmas
rubbish.
is about. Watching
when I say
rubbish.
but just good, wholesome fun.
Of course.
Nice. I don't really have any more questions on that. This is probably going to be a long episode, so I thought we'll go straight into it. If anyone else want to throw anything in, if not, we'll go straight to top fives.
no.
Let's do it then.
It's time for a top 5.
So anyone who hasn't joined us before on YouTube, what we do is we roll our little 20 die with the T-Rex bit on side to determine who goes first. Whoever rolls the highest goes first, and then clockwise from there. The streak is dead. Long live the new champs. Let's pass it over to
The
him.
new taker.
Here we go.
The new taker.
New taker.
What we got, sir?
15.
Ooh, good starts. Over to highs and claws.
4.
Oh, come on, pass it over then. Let's have it. Ready? 12?
Yeah.
Yeah. 12? 12, then, go on then. Here we go.
Secret incantation.
Ancient spirits of evil.
Transform this dice.
into number 3.
3? Oh, it's back to Mario then.
Hey.
So yeah, if we don't mention your TV special episode, there are hundreds of them, I assume. If we don't mention it, please leave a comment and let us know. Give us a recommendation. We'll give it a go. Number 5s.
Number 5.
Supa Mario. Over to you, sir.
So my number 5 is in tribute to Stu from Legends of Podcasting. We have Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker.
Yeah, my number 5 as well.
Nice.
So it's Clash of the Night, guys.
Yeah, it's a great Christmas episode. It has the Joker at the beginning. They're all in Arkham, and they're all singing their Christmas carols. And what Christmas carol do you sing about Batman? Jingle bells. So it's jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg.
The typical one.
Yeah, that's it. But in this one, the Joker is singing that at the top of his voice, and then he finishes it all with the Joker escapes. And he gets on a Christmas tree that turns into a rocket, of course, and launches
through the
out of the prison. And then the next thing you see is Batman and Robin together discussing their Christmas plans. And Batman's saying, no, we have to be on patrol. We have to watch out for all these bad guys. And Robin going, oh, no, there's nothing going on. Maybe we can just sit back, have a normal Christmas and watch It's a Good Life. And Batman in that has such a great response to that. It's like, I've never watched that film. I could never get past the title. It's just, and every reference he has to Christmas after that and the films they're going to watch is always like, is it dark? Is it kind of, is there despair? It's not too happy, is it? So Batman then setting the tone for him and his likes for Christmas. In the meantime, the Joker has kind of set up a dastardly plan to kind of kidnap. He's got Commissioner Gordon, Barbara, and Harvey Bullock. Yeah, Harvey Bullock.
the copper guy, isn't it? Yeah.
And he's got them all, and he's given an ultimatum now to Batman or to whoever. By midnight, they need to be saved.
Yeah.
And in that, Batman is now kind of racing to try and find them. There's silly clues left out for them. But during this kind of weird TV show that the Joker's doing, a Christmas special.
Yeah, because they tune in to Watch a Wonderful Life, don't they?
And it turns out it's the Joker,
isn't it?
Joker running his own TV show. The Joker runs, and the Joker runs like a special section with Donner and Blitzen, and he gets Donner and Blitzen, the two of his goons.
Two henchmen,
and he goes over to them and says, "Oh, how are you getting on down there, guys?" And they're setting up a bomb to
All
blow up
set
the
up,
bridge.
boss.
Yes, yeah. And that's it. And then they blow up the bridge, at which point Barbara exclaims, "Oh, my mum's on that train." All a distraction to get Batman over there to save them, to get him away from Gotham and everything that's going on. Anyway, they come back and they work it all out that actually the Joker is in a toy factory somewhere.
Yeah, because he thinks it's somewhere else at first, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Like an observatory or something like that.
He goes there and discovers, oh, actually, that's not it. And they get set up there. It's when they go into the toy factory and it's all like Christmas toys for boys and girls.
Yeah.
And he's got swatting them down left, right, and centre and getting them. And eventually, kind of, they obviously win the day. It's Batman after all. When's he not going to find the Joker?
But it's the typical good guys over a pool of something, a pool of acid or something,
but
whatever.
he actually saves the Joker. So the Joker falls off the gantry and he reaches out and he just grabs hold of him.
That's it.
And the Joker's going, got me now, bats. And it's just like, it's such a great kind of...
That was very accurate.
It was pretty good.
Can you tell that I really like it? But yeah, and then he saves him and he sends him back to Arkham. And of course it finishes with, the Joker singing Christmas carols and actually being quite festive.
Which is odd.
And if I remember correctly, the last scene is Bruce turns around to Dick and goes, I'm glad that the Commissioner could lend us a copy of
lend them a copy of Wonderful Life.
So yeah, they sit down and they all sit down with their little drinks and cocoa and Alfred in the background and they're all watching It's a Wonderful Life. Well, Christmas wouldn't be complete without that.
Without that, right?
That's it. But yeah, there's my number 5.
Yeah.
Batman, the animated series, Christmas with the Joker.
And that was the episode, I believe, was inspiration for the video game, the Batman and Robin Adventures, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It gave, because that sets up some of these characters, the bosses and the levels themselves around that Christmas sort of period.
The toy factory thing,
the toy factory, yeah. So yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Cool.
Good pick. First Clash, over to Highs and Claws.
Oh, yeah. So my one is we're going stateside, and it's the newest one on my list, and it's from 2015, and it's Modern Family. Yeah, no, Modern Family.
Good pick, sir.
Like I think there's about 10 seasons, is there?
11 seasons.
And it's one of these programs where I think there's pretty much a Christmas episode every season. They kind of.
It runs that winter schedule, doesn't it?
They kind of keep it in linear, so you kind of always know. But I'm going for, I think it's season 4, White Christmas. Yeah, so this one's the one where Gloria's just become a US citizen for the first time. She's passed her test, and she's determined to have a good white Christmas, as she puts it. So no betrayal, no backstabbing, no violence.
Just pure innocence.
Yeah, just
what sort of
nothing
Christmas is
that
that?
she gets in Colombia. So it's the 3 families. You got Mitch and Cam, the 2 gay guys with Lily. Great couple, great.
Those 2
characters.
make that show.
Oh,
they are
brilliant.
the best in that show.
But then the thing is, like there's not you don't go that it's boring. Like when it's Phil and Claire, it's good. Even when it's the kids.
It's still good. I think Manny's the only one I really don't like in that show.
But
he's the weak link in that show.
He's like the Rimmer. He's there to just keep you.
Don't diss Rimmer.
Oh no, Rimmer's great. Everybody needs Rimmer.
What a guy.
What a guy. So Gloria rents this cabin in the woods, cabin up in the mountains, going to have loads of snow. They packed everything. They rock up, and it's like 40 degrees. It's baking. Phil's bought himself the warmest sheepskin jacket because he expects it to be cold, and he refuses to take it off. They end up making their way into the cabin, and there's an unexpected house guest who's arrived because her family have ditched them. They've all gone to Hawaii, and then you can't work out why, and then she's just so negative, and so you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. She ends up staying, and then it's just a case of 3 or 4 different scenarios happening at simultaneous time for a conclusion. Because it's one of these programs where it's not all fun, you know. It's like it's real. They argue. It's like a proper Christmas. It's not like, you know, the sitcom ones where it just flows.
Everything's happy, everything's nice.
So like
this just shows the flaws.
Jay's planned his retirement. He's made up a new fake general manager, which has got Claire fuming. Is it Chuck Feeney?
Chuck fuming.
She's fuming, absolutely fuming. She goes off in a rage. Phil follows in his coat, and he's just sweating his balls off.
I love Phil. He's amazing.
But then it took me a while to get over him because he's the guy from Dawn of the Dead, the arsehole, isn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
So you kind of like...
Yes, he is.
And he plays both sides of the... So it's just this big payoff of Mitch and Cam trying to practice in their Silent Night rendition the whole way through the film because they fucked up last year. They've been called the Crappenters and Simon and Diamond. That's just Jay's put downs. He's so good at like just putting them down. Some of the insults in it, and it's 25 minutes of just laugh.
Each episode isn't it?
But this episode, it just flows. It's a really good Christmas. It's because it's just a normal Christmas episode. It goes pretty crazy. Yeah, so like I recommend giving them all a whirl.
Oh, Modern Family is that show that doesn't have a bad episode.
No,
I could binge that all over again if I really wanted to.
Yeah, because I always see it on. So if I just see it on the telly, I will just watch it.
Just sit and watch it. Yeah. It's like people do that with friends.
It's like a documentary interviewing.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's just really well done. It was a program I thought I'm not going to like this. I thought it'd be American. It's going to be, but I was so. Yeah.
It's surprising how many
surprising.
American TV shows that you approach and you think, oh, it's not going to be very good.
Not going to be very good.
And
then I always find they become because I have such a negative view on it.
Yeah.
When it changes your view.
When it changes, you're like, by God, he's done a fucking massive view a year. So yeah. But there's plenty of good Christmas episodes, but this one's a good one.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely, and a good pick as well. Good pick. My number 5 is The Clash with Mario, so let's go to Howard's number 5.
Well, my number 5, we're going to go a little bit spooky for Christmas with this one, and back to 1998's Season 6, Episode 6 of The X-Files for How the Ghosts Stole Christmas. The episode opens up with Mulder telling a spooky story of how two star-crossed lovers entered into a suicide pact and killed themselves. And this was in a haunted house locally within the area. So David Duchovny's narrating over the top of the episode, and he's telling Scully this spooky Christmas story. So he suggests, why don't they go and visit this spooky haunted house? Scully doesn't want to. She wants to kick back. There's no work. She wants to have a glass of wine, watch some shit TV, and possibly open up some presents and probably pass out from eating cheese. I don't know. Whatever the cuisine was at the time.
How do your Christmases go?
Pass out for eating cheese. I love that.
Sounds great. So he convinces her to go to this haunted house. Now, they step up to the front door, and the door opens, and they step in, and Scully says, no, I'm not interested. I want to go. So as soon as she goes to leave, the door closes. Well, as soon as the door closes, they realise they're locked in, and two apparitions appear in front of them in the form of the actors Ed Asner and Lily Tomlin, two really great American actors. The episode then, it's like a psychological investigation into the characters of Mulder and Scully, because you kind of get the impression up until this point, and I think the film had just come out, it was 1998, so the very first film.
I like the movie.
The movie's really, really good. Answered some questions and then opened up some more.
Of course.
For fuck's sake. So, yeah, this season was off the back of the film. But they were doing something different with some of these episodes. They weren't your atypical X-Files episodes. So, yeah, this one looked into the psyche of both characters and delved a little bit deeper. You kind of realise that Mulder is actually a narcissist and Scully is his dependent. Yeah, that they're not necessarily both nice characters, but they're doing the best that they can within the department that they work in. So basically, the two ghosts, specifically Lily Tomlin's ghost, gets inside their heads and starts messing around with them. And it gets to a point. So it's quite comical up until that point, because Ed Asner and Lily Tomlin are comedy actors. They play to their strengths. But it starts getting quite dark. And Lily Tomlin's ghost starts making each agent hallucinate. So Scully sees Mulder, and Mulder shoots Scully, and vice versa. Scully shoots Mulder in a separate room.
Damn.
Yeah, so all of a sudden...
Merry Christmas, everyone.
They're lying on the floor bleeding out. They kind of find each other, and this is... You realise this is all just an apparition. So what the ghosts are essentially doing, they're digging deep into the psychology of each agent and realising that these characters do actually like each other, because up until this point you're not really sure whether they have a relationship at all. It's just work.
Yeah,
but they do care about each other. They do love each other to the degree that they're friends, and that's kind of what comes out of this episode. It's the Christmas spirit that gets into them, because these two ghosts they're bringing this sort of...
So not the boyfriend girlfriend material side, just like we are really good.
They're
friends
really good friends. They care. They love about each other. They wouldn't want to see any harm come to each other, and this is the kind of the whole point. It's that Christmas spirit that gets into the two of them. All of a sudden, it snaps back to reality. They're stood outside of the house. They make their way back to their apartments, and the ghosts kind of kick back and go, well, that's another job well done. What's kind of sweet about the end of the episode is that they actually share a glass of wine and open up presents, and you can hear like Christmas music in the background. Mark Snow, who does the music for the X-Files, he combines this kind of harpsichord sort of violin musical version of the X-Files theme tune. It's really, really good. It's
really Christmassy, kind of festive.
Okay.
Yeah, it works really, really well, and it sort of kind of runs throughout the whole episode. But yeah, I like this one because it's not your atypical X-Files episode. It's not one that I would introduce people to the X-Files, because it doesn't quite work that way. It's not your monster of the week. But it is a nice Christmas episode. It has a nice ending. So yeah, that's my number 5.
Nice. Then let's go to the number 4s.
Number 4.
Back to Mario then for number 4, sir.
Okay, so I am a massive fan of a big franchise. I had to get an episode in here for that franchise. It's not Knight Rider.
Okay. Was there a Knight Rider?
I don't think it was.
No.
I think it was too sunny, and it was always... It was a summer series, so it was never on during that winter period.
Oh, okay.
So this is Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Of course! Of course it was.
Series 3, which is the series that I haven't really watched the whole way through, but there was one Christmas episode in Buffy, and it's called Amends.
Okay.
So...
and I nearly...
You nearly put it on there.
Had this, yeah.
So Sunnydale is going for a heat wave in the middle of winter. So everyone's getting ready for Christmas. Everyone's buying presents and stuff for people. Everyone's talking about their Christmas plans and stuff. Angelus at this point, or Angel, has just been brought back from being evil. So if you watch season 2, you'll understand that you get a little bit of history about Angelus. Or Angel. He was evil before he was good. He's a vampire now. You find out that he's a vampire. And basically, he is now struggling with his conscience. So there's a flashback scene at the very start. Really bad Irish accents. Really bad facial moustaches. But David Boreanaz doing his best Irish in Dublin, which doesn't sound Irish at all. Sounds more like a bad Chicago. With a really bad moustache. Anyway, so... It goes through one of his kills and it plays on his mind, and you go back to Buffy and the crew, the Scooby Gang, all talking about what they're going to do. So Willow's now talking about getting back with Oz. You know, she's going to have a friend's time. They're going to,
friend zone.
Just literally, her and Oz are going to have some time together.
Okay.
Oz turns up, sees her with Xander, and is like getting jealous again. And of course, we've worked out at this point that he's a werewolf. So this sounds really bad when I say it out loud, like really dodgy. But
hey, it worked at the time.
It did. And I still watch it. I still love the show. And so he comes in. There's a whole kind of emotional triangle thing going on there. You've also got. So from series 2, Giles' girlfriend of the time, or his love interest, gets killed by Angel. So he isn't. Flavour of the month. Angel isn't flavour of the month with him. Isn't flavour of the month with Xander because he nearly tried to kill him. Buffy's still
She's on the fence. Really,
yeah, she's like she has to save him, but she hasn't got to save him. Oh, he's the lover. Like I don't really like him. It's that kind of angst thing. So it's a full on Christmas angst. So Christmas comes into it when Buffy's going shopping with her mum for a Christmas tree. And there's a scene where the guy's putting the Christmas trees out and goes, I don't know what's happening. They just keep dying. And off she walks. It's possibly something to do with the extreme heat in Sunnydale, but we'll get to that. So anyway, turns out that it's the new big bad that's turned up. And he's now playing, she is now playing with Angel's mind. And the more that Angel gets tormented, the more the temperature in Sunnydale seems to rise.
Oh.
So Angel's now going through this whole kind of emotional... I've done bad and I'm really bad, and to the point where now he's as obviously he's a vampire. He can't come out during the day, so he's at night and he's brooding on the top of this roof, and he's come to visit Buffy, who has, in true Christmas spirit, invited Faith to come and join her, who is another Slayer that's turned up on the scene. Played by Eliza Dushku, one of my favourite actresses and favourite characters in the entire Buffy series. So Faith's come along. Her and Buffy have been at loggerheads, but Buffy's mum is like, no, invite Faith. She's got nowhere to go. Faith being the cool kid, I've got a party to go to.
Because she wears black leather jackets and stuff like
that. Dark eye makeup, biker boots, leather trousers. I might have to take a moment. And we're back. But anyway, so we come back to the story. You have Angel just turns up unannounced at Buffy's house after Faith's turned up. Buffy says to Faith, protect my mum, babysit, whatever. I'm going to go sort this out. So off they go. So Angel is toying with the fact that he can never be happy, because if he's happy, then he'll go back to being evil. Buffy's going with, you can have moments of happiness, you just can't have extreme happiness. He's like, no, I've done so much bad. There's so much bad. I must be punished for it. So he's now about to commit suicide. And he can see this new character, the first, they're calling it, who's in the vision with him. So they're just egging him on his shoulder, going, no, you've got to kill the Slayer. And Buffy's there kind of going, no, do what you need to do, but you need to get this out of your system. Anyway, eventually it all culminates in Angel and Buffy. He goes in to kill her, but actually it turns into this lover's clinch and they all come together. And at that moment in time, when everything gets subsided, the heat wave has stopped and it snows in Sunnydale. And that's the end of the episode, and that's Christmas in Sunnydale. So that is as close to Christmas as you get. But it's a Buffy episode. I'm getting it in there. Yeah. It happens at Christmas.
I thought it would be higher on the list, but I'm surprised, And
no, my number one is going to smash the shit out of that. But yeah, there you go. So it is Buffy in the series 3. I can't remember what episode it is. I think it's 6 or 4 or 6, and it's called Amends.
Nice. Good pick, sir. Over to Highs and Claws.
Oh, so this one was released on Christmas Eve 2008, and it's one of these ones that I will watch because it's normally on every year. And I think I had it on my most influential picks.
I know what this is.
It's Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. I thought you'd have this.
Yeah, the first one where they all gone up to Essex from from Wales. Yeah, this again, I like these sort of comedies because they're like what I class as real life situational. Like you can kind of see real families, like real problems with a comedy sketch. It's not too far fetched in the world of television.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one starts with Gavin. He's just got a job. He's just had an interview down in Wales. He's planning to move down there. He has to go and see Nessa, who's the local Father Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
But he has to spend like 15 minutes trying to queue up, has to pay for it. It's just, it's brilliant. But then at the same time, you've got Smithy. He's doing his carpool karaoke, and he's blaring out the Christmas songs to like Geldof. And he the interactions between the characters just feel real and wholesome. They don't feel like you're watching a script, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's like
it's natural.
Natural. So like that kind of seems weird that they ended up falling out because they kind of get on really well on screen, if you know what I mean. And it's like he spends the whole episode trying to get round how's he going to tell his mum and how's he going to tell Smithy that he's moving down to Barry. So everybody's coming up. You got, was it Dave Coaches, who's Dave Coaches, who's going out with Nessa, who's obviously like stepdad for Neil the baby. The character. So they come up. What's it? Pam has been lying for the last like 2 series is that she's vegetarian because for no real reason.
We all work and know people like that.
Is it? Was it? Yeah.
Nobody's really vegan.
And you got the dad who's just spending the whole episode caressing the turkey.
Yes.
Making sure it's perfect.
Is this the one where they go through the Christmas injuries? Like he pulls out the tea towel and he goes, pulls out his wrist and he goes, I see that. That's a roasting dish.
Oh, it's a bit of Jaws like scene, isn't it?
Yeah, roasting dish. And that was...
Fill these up a bit. Yeah.
Tea towel. That was a tea towel.
Yeah.
I've never seen Gavin's. I'm just going along with this. So
I love Gavin's parents. So it's Pam and what's his name? But it's Alison Steadman and Larry Lamb, and I think as actors, I absolutely
and they work
them.
so well together.
And
as
they
well.
do. Yeah, the on-screen chemistry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, the on-screen chemistry between the two of them is absolutely brilliant.
They feel like a real.
The real couple.
Yeah, real mum and dad. And then to
the point where they've got tired of each other as well, because they do the eye roll, they do the, he's saying it again, and she's doing it again, and you're so embarrassing.
The bit he comes in from work, and like the mum's wrapping up. He's like, "Don't look at me!" Don't. That reminds me of like walking in at home, and Mum. I was like, "He's like, you come in the living room, fucking out. You know what time we're coming home."
A lot of the humour, whether you like Gavin and Stacey or not, a lot of the humour is very well observed throughout that whole series, and I think that's what makes it work because at the core, everybody can identify with something.
Someone in it, and so someone in it or some situation.
It's a really wholesome episode, and they've got a new one coming out. I think it's
this year.
Yeah, so we've been waiting 5 years for that one. So I'm looking forward. So we'll be watching this year.
But this is kind of your comfort zone, isn't it? This is your nice go-to thing.
It's just an easy kind of what the problem is. It's because it's iPlayer. It's not freely.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. What was the episode you mentioned this on?
This was the most influential.
That's it. Yes, and that's why I knew you'd have this in there.
Yeah. So because you got this one, and then you had the one where they go down to Barry and Bryn's cooking.
Yes,
that's a good one. But I like the. Is it? What was his name? Dawn and Pete. Two supporting characters, the neighbours. They're really great characters, and they're only supporting. But when they come in, their chemistry and like the way that they're on screen, it's just like there's some dark humour between those two as well. And he ends up punching Dave Coaches.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it's suggestive, isn't it? You have to make your own mind up about it.
Yeah, but there's a bit in there. It's like Smithy ends up giving his boy a little football kit.
Yeah.
And then like Dave Coaches, the stepdad's like, oh no, he's giving him a Cardiff City. Yeah. And it really, it's a real it's like, oh God, Smithy, don't allow it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's just bits in there. It's just like we will always watch it as a family, pretty much. most Christmases when it's on. So if you haven't watched it, it's a good laugh. And I think there was 3 specials.
Yeah.
So
Well,
4.
Oh,
Yeah, Gavin and Stacey.
nice pick. I really need to go first at some point because I can't follow you guys, honestly. My number 4 is going to be the US version of a British TV series. It's The Office.
Yes.
I have gone with season 2, episode 10, The Christmas Party. The reason I put this in here is because it has the most awkward Secret Santa in it you could ever watch. It is so... I'll go into it anyway. So anyone who doesn't know what The Office is, it's about a documentary that's filmed in an office, and there's the greatest boss of all time, Michael Scott, played by Steve Carell, and you've got all the other characters that are in the office. I won't go into too much. Again, you should watch it. But the point of this show is that Michael gets a bonus because he had to sack a few people during the series, didn't he? Doesn't tell the people in the office that he's got a bonus for sacking people. So he wants to try and like liven up their spirits and do a Xmas party and whatnot. And at the very beginning of the episode, we see all the other characters say, look, I've got this gift for such and such. I've got this gift for such and such. And they show what they are. And there is a kind of like a little love story going on with 2 characters, which is Jim and Pam. Jim fancies Pam, but Pam's obviously got a fiance. Roy, sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah, that's it. And so Jim has made a little sentimental gift for her. It's like a teapot with all these little things that she likes, and for like photos of him and hot sauces, all that sort. Anyway, there's a little notes that Jim puts in the teapot. And there's a reason I'll come into that in a second why he puts in there. But anyway, we get to the awkward Secret Santa. So everyone has a $20 limit on these presents, okay? Michael, being Michael as he is because it wouldn't be him about it, he puts a free $400 video iPod in there for his Secret Santa. So when it all gets revealed and everyone gets their thing, they go, well, who's splashing out? Who's doing this? Michael says it's him, and it's, we all had a $20 limit. And then when Michael gets his gift, which was probably, I think it was a handmade oven mitten from one of the people, he really flips out like, I'm worth this. I paid $400 for someone and all I get is this. And then the whole thing just, it is so awkward, but it's funny. And he comes up with this idea called Yankee Swap. And this is where people swap their Secret Santas, even though they're ones that are made or built for people. Like one of them has a sign that says Kelly, and it's for Kelly, but it goes to Ryan instead now. And everyone's after the iPod and everything. It is just, it's brilliant to watch, but you can't help but like, oh, what the fuck is going on?
It's so cringy, isn't it?
That's the word, cringy. It is so cringy to watch, but it's brilliant. I'm going to go back to Jim's present because Pam eventually gets her present from him, and he pulls out the note that was in the teapot. And we don't see this note again till 7 seasons later. There's 9 seasons in The Office.
Yes.
And we never see that note again until season 9. And we find out in the very last episode of The Office what he wrote in that letter 7 seasons ago. And it's brilliant. I just love how it connects back to this episode. But anyway, everyone finds out that Michael got a Christmas bonus. Everyone's freaking the fuck out saying, why do we get Christmas bonuses? So what does Michael do? Michael being Michael, he goes and buys 15 large bottles of vodka and gets everyone pissed just to forget that he got Christmas bonus. That's how you do it, guys. But obviously there are other shenanigans in the episode that go way more. Obviously people's drunk shenanigans and whatnot. Michael's going around with do you remember digital cameras?
Yes.
Going around with digital cameras, taking quick shots of people and whatnot. It is brilliant, but the highlight of this episode is Yankee Swap. As much as I enjoy Secret Santas to me are a ball ache, especially when you get that's one person which you don't know what to do for. So, but I never want to live through Yankee Swap ever.
I think Yankee Swap's the worst.
And if anyone has, comment below, let us know your experience of it, because I never want to go through that. So I had to highlight this as there are, like you said with Modern Family, The Office has a Christmas episode every season. But that one is probably one of my highlights of it. But yeah, simply for Secret Santa.
I need to watch it. I've never watched any of them.
Have you not? Oh, dude.
I couldn't stomach the
I tell you what. If you watch The Office, I'll start Gavin and Stacey.
Oh yeah, no, I've got no. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
There's not many American. Funny enough, I'm about to talk about one, but there's not many American series that I would say go and watch.
Yeah.
The American Office. Yeah, I hate the British one as well. The American Office is an absolute must. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's more than 3 seasons, so you watch it.
Yeah, I will do.
So that's my number 4, The Office. Over to Howard's number 4.
So my number 4, sticking in the US, in New York, we're going to go to the lives of Jerry Seinfeld.
Really? You're going to go to Seinfeld? Nice.
Oh, I love
Is this
Seinfeld.
a strike?
Yeah. This is the strike. This is the strike, yeah. And I've previously mentioned on other episodes that I love Seinfeld because it's anarchic, it's wacky, it's down to Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David. I mean, Larry David is. I mean, there's something wrong with the guy, but the humour.
He's amazing.
He should be incarcerated.
But he's George.
He is George. Yeah, he's the original.
George is based on Larry.
Absolutely.
They go. You would act like that. He goes. That's how I act.
That's how Larry would, yeah.
But as soon as you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm, you suddenly realise exactly why. So the strikes. I've had to write some of this down because although I love it, it's so Seinfeld episodes are so convoluted. There's so many things running through it. Jerry is dating an ugly, beautiful woman. So at one point she's really, really beautiful. Under certain light, and then he sees her in the cold light of day the next day. She's extremely ugly, and then he keeps taking her for dinner in this particular restaurant because if you sit underneath a certain light in a certain booth in this certain restaurant, she looks exceptionally beautiful. So this woman starts believing that there's actually another woman in his life because, as always, wires get crossed, and she thinks that Jerry is cheating on her. Anyway, so that's his situation. Kramer is ending a 12-year strike. A union strike at his bagel shop where he actually works because the whole time you're watching Seinfeld you don't believe Kramer. You don't think Kramer's got a job. He just fucks about from day to day and there's this new escapade. But yeah, so he ends this 12-year strike because the bagel company that he works for put the wage up to minimum wage, so therefore the strike is ended, and that's what it was about. So he returns to work. Elaine. So Elaine, whenever Elaine goes to a party or meets a man and she doesn't like them, she always gives them a wrong telephone number. So in this particular episode, she writes down a wrong telephone number on the back of a card where she's racked up enough points to get a free sandwich. And the sandwiches from this particular deli are very, very special. So she then goes on the hunt for this guy in order to be able to get this card back to get her free sandwich. Yeah, I know. So Jerry Seinfeld sells this program as a show about nothing, and it is. Essentially, it's about nothing. There's no definitive story. It's always little things that happen throughout. But this is why I like it. So that's Elaine's little thing during the episode. George, his current place of work, starts donating to a human fund, which is a fictional charity because it's a Secret Santa situation and he doesn't want to spend any money. So he says, instead of giving you all presents this year, I'm donating to the Human Fund. Well, his boss suddenly starts realising that he wants to donate to the Human Fund as well because it's very benevolent. George gets in trouble because of this, because there is no Human Fund. Frank Costanza, George's father, many, many years ago, in order to fight against materialism and a capitalist sort of belief of Christmas, invented Festivus. So there's this fictional holiday of Festivus, which they celebrate on the 23rd of December.
But how big a lie can you go with it?
Exactly. George all his life has lived underneath Festivus, and he's kind of rallied against it. But I love Frank Costanza because
Serenity now.
Yeah, I mean the actor that plays him is Jerry Stiller, who is Ben Stiller's father.
Yeah,
and
he's fantastic. I loved him, man.
Gone now, but he was such a fantastic comedy actor.
He's brilliant in that.
He sells it so well, and as George's father, the interplay between the two of them is fucking brilliant. Eventually the episode culminates in the fact that all of the main characters are invited round to the Costanzas to celebrate Festivus, and it's so bloody bizarre. I mean, from memory, because I haven't watched it recently, but I think there's this stick with lights wrapped around it, and this is the Festivus stick. So you don't have a Christmas tree, you have the Festivus stick, and other stuff as well. Kramer gets invited, upsets George, and antics ensue as per usual. But this is a standout episode of Seinfeld for me, and it always sticks in my mind as a Christmas episode because of the whole Festivus thing. And since that point, whenever I kind of talk about alternative Christmases within conversations. I always say, "Oh, what about Festivus?" And people don't understand what I'm talking about. Titter, titter, titter. But yeah, because of this, and a lot of my humour, I live by Seinfeld rules anyway. So yeah, number 4 is The Strike.
From Seinfeld, yeah?
Yes, season 9, which was at the very end of the run.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Yeah. Let's go then to the number 3s.
Number 3.
Back to Mario then for the number 3s.
Okay. Now I'm going to go with my selection. I was going to swap this one out, but I'm going to go with my selection. And it is stereotypical Christmas special in the vein of Gavin and Stacey. However, this is a lot older. This is 1981, and this is Only Fools and Horses. The first season Christmas special they did, called Christmas Crackers.
Okay.
So it's got Grandad in it. Grandad's been given 20 quid to sort out a Christmas dinner. So he buys a turkey, he does all the spuds, he does all the trimmings, buys a Christmas pudding, cooks it all for them, nearly gives them food poisoning. The turkey's still frozen on the inside. The giblets are still inside the frozen, but they've been stuffed all the way to the front of the turkey with stuffing. So that's unedible. So they've eaten what they can, kind of, and they've, in true kind of Only Fools and Horses fashion, it's all Grandad's fault. Grandad's like a dithering old fool, so he's, I don't know what I've done. Oh, Del, I'm so sorry. I haven't got you anything either for Christmas. This was going to be my... all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
Rodney's complaining because he just doesn't want to be there, but he's got nowhere else to be. So... they all do what every family does after Christmas dinner. They all sit down, they all sit watching the TV, and then Rodney's getting a little bit antsy, he wants to go out. Del's getting a little bit bored, he wants to go out. Rodney's like, should we go out? Come on, Del, let's go. Let's go. And Del Boy's very much like, no. Like, Grandad has cooked us this Christmas meal. It's family time. We're going to stay with the family. And they have this big argument over what to watch and what to do and all this sort of stuff. And then Grandad just goes, do you know what? I'm going out. So if Grandad goes out, so they've said they're going to stay in for Grandad's sake, Grandad goes out.
Grandad goes out.
And then they go, right, he's going out, we're going clubbing. So off they go clubbing. I don't know which clubs
on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I don't know which clubs are open on Christmas Day, but like, let's go Peckham is a,
it's a happening place.
It's a happening place in the 80s.
Clearly in 1981.
Yeah. So off they go to this club. Anyway, so they're both discussing how they're going to go pull women, because essentially that's what you did in the 80s. You went out, you found yourself a girlfriend or, a one-night stand, and they're both chatting about how they're going to do it. So Rodney does this walk, and he walks across the floor to meet these women, and Del Boy just pisses himself and just tears into him. So anyway, Rodney comes back and goes, what's the problem? He goes, your walk is a bit this, a bit that, there's no chance. See those two ladies over there? What we're going to do is we're going to go over and we're going to use this method. And then Rodney's like, no, we're going to use this will work. So the two of them end up in this big argument over the best way to go and approach these women. And what ends up happening is the women go off with two different blokes.
Yeah, of course.
And essentially the episode is based around like the family aspect and how like they probably should have been better staying at home with the family and probably cooking the turkey for a little bit longer. But like, it's a typical kind of Only Fools and Horses. It's not the best Christmas one, but it's the first Christmas one. And it's the first Christmas Only Fools and Horses episode I ever remember watching with my nan. So she had them all on VHS, and we got to that point. And weirdly, the way we watched them on VHS, it came to that point at Christmas when it was on. And so we actually all sat there watching the Christmas episode, not even live on TV, on a recorded copy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember that as well. So that's why this one is here on my list. It happened at Christmas. My nan, who passed away last year, it kind of part of that as well. So,
so it's not like a sentimental
value to it, as well as kind of like, it's Only Fools and Horses. It's a classic. It's funny. It's what you get, what you give is what you get for that show. So yeah, Only Fools and Horses.
Not Christmas without Only Fools. It's such a British thing, isn't it?
It's like Gavin and Stacey. Gavin and Stacey took on the crown. Like, it was handed, the baton was handed over to Gavin and Stacey. And there have been other shows as well that the British kind of humour is kind of moved over with, but yeah.
It's not Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Not Mrs. Brown's Boys.
Oh, God's fucking show. It's literally on every Christmas now.
I don't know why.
I don't.
really
I don't
know
see
why.
the fascination, but hey,
Not my
it's an
humour.
Irish thing.
It's
Good thing he's not on the
any of our
episode.
lists.
Sorry, John.
That's it. It's not even got an honourable mention.
No, fuck that.
Dishonourable.
Discharge. Anyway, there you go. Only Fools and Horses Christmas Crackers.
Nice, mate.
Okay, so this one is my wild card / pick, because this one is
Oh, this is one you mentioned earlier.
yeah.
Right,
So
okay.
this one is traditionally for me. It came out at Christmas, and then it's repeated
over and over again.
every Christmas
Since
Like,
that year, yeah.
Mum always did it, and it was by one of my favourite authors as a kid, and it was the BFG.
Nice.
So I know we weren't doing like movies as such.
No, but
like,
this was released on Christmas. I remember.
It was released for Christmas as a Christmas.
Because it happens
TTV.
at Christmas, doesn't it? Like the Roald Dahl book happens around Christmas.
You're talking about the original animation one with David Jason as his voice, yes.
I forgot that.
That just blew my mind. Yeah, the old animation, not the new one, and like and then they go to the meet the Queen and everything at the end. Yeah, so this one was, I remember it was like, I think it was 92, I believe it was.
Yeah. Very early,
Very, very early. And it was, my mum was like, oh, the BFG's on. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah. So sat down, watched it as a family. And, it's just one of those things that's always stuck with me.
The giants used to terrify me. The grey drool they always used to have and everything.
Can you smell that?
I smell that. And it just dribbled down them all the time.
He was, what was his name? It was Blood Butler.
Blood Butler.
He was pretty terrifying. He had the band and the red eye and the big, and you always wondered like, how were they not spotted as?
Yeah.
But this one was, I was like, oh, I really wanted to put it on because I was like, it is Christmas, but it is a movie, but it was made for Christmas, and it's just one of these things that I watched over and over and over again, and then it just kind of. It stopped when Sky became massive, and I did give the new one a go, but it's.
I think the new one's okay, but it's when you've grown up with the old one.
It's the magic of.
And it had so much charm.
It's a generational thing as well. Like, so I've watched the new one. So the girls were reading, Quinn was reading the BFG for a little while, and then we watched the latest film based on it. And it's really bizarre.
That's the Spielberg one.
Yeah, it's really bizarre because the film and the book, they're very similar, but the pictures in my head aren't of those characters.
No.
They're of the cartoon. So it's really bizarre to kind of, when you're watching the film, the voices are quite similar, but it's not quite, it's something not quite right about it. And it's because the cartoon's already tainted my vision of it. The kids loved it, but they didn't know any different.
Yeah, I mean, like we mentioned, there is magic to it, but there are dark moments in that movie.
They didn't care for kids. Just like, here it is, terrified, but then you're going to be...
It's like the books. The books are horrendous.
Roald Dahl wasn't nice to kids.
No, that's the thing about Roald Dahl. He was like a modern day Hans Christian Andersen. Yeah. He was telling sort of folk tales with a dark edge, but he did write horror stories as well. That's very much was his thing. So
so for anybody who doesn't know, it's about a giant, and his job is basically to go around and give dreams to children. And Sophie, who's a young girl at an orphanage, spots him at night. You don't see him, and she gets taken. She gets taken to basically Neverland, like the land of the giants.
Yes,
not the Sunday TV show.
Yeah,
that's a good show.
Which was a good show. Yeah.
And she goes there, and giants are meat-eating children, bone crunching.
But she happens to have lucked out with the only vegetarian who eats snozcumbers.
And they look
whiz bang, whiz pop. Feel those bubbles go down.
Is it a bottle thumper?
Yeah, bottle thumper. Yeah,
bottle thumper's like a big bad dreams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he catches them, doesn't he?
He catches the bad dreams and distributes.
So the
good
story
dreams.
is Sophie kind of convinces the giant BFG that he has to do something to capture these giants. So they end up going to see Queen Victoria.
Yep.
Queen Elizabeth. Sorry. Oh God, not Queen Elizabeth. And she makes a deal with him. We get the Air Force, who's I think one of the best characters. Or is it the Army? And they get all of the. I still picture that scene where they're all.
They scoop them up in the net.
Yeah, they load them up in the nets, and then they're flying over. But when they land, it changes from a kids' movie to
all that war.
All that war. It's darkness.
Big time.
And I just remember as a kid being pretty terrified when he's coming. It's just going BFG. Yeah, it just takes place at Christmas. It's something that I always remember as a Christmas film, and it's something that I will carry on watching to this day.
Get your kids into it.
Yeah, well, my boy only watches certain things, but he will watch it at some point.
Make him watch it.
He will be watching it.
He will be watching it at some point.
Nice.
But
Good pick, sir. So my number 3.
Oh, God.
I honestly thought I was going to clash with someone on this, but okay. My number 3 is nowhere near anything Christmassy, but it was released on Christmas. It's part 1 of 3 Christmas specials. David Jason. Only Fools and Horses, Heroes and Villains.
Yes. This is the one that everyone would have on their list.
This is what I thought.
Well,
I thought would,
like,
yeah. And then when you said that, I was like,
this opening episode, I think it sticks in everybody's mind. And
it's only 2 years away, the opening to this episode. It's in the not too distant future of November 2nd, 2026, which is where Rodney has his dream. Is it? Anyway, I'm not going to go too much into this episode because the meat and bone of this episode is all about the fancy dress. Yeah, that's what people watch this episode
party
for.
They're invited to.
Exactly. So we find out that there's a thing that they do every year. And it's a party that they do. It's like a ball, a fancy dress ball of some sort, and different people in the town host
from
it.
the council, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. So it's I've got it written down here. Harry Malone's turn to do it, and whoever has the best fancy dress will win. I think it's £1,000 worth of stereo. Yeah. So Raquel and what's Rodney's other half called? Cassandra. I've gone away for the weekend, whatever. So Del Boy comes up this side.
She's gone to a villa in Spain. That's it. Her mum's. That's it. He stayed at home.
Exactly. They're both at home, and it's like what Mario said is like, oh, let's go out and get pissed or whatnot, and then pull girls. And it's like Rodney said, I'm not going to do that. He said, well, why don't we go to this fancy dress ball and we'll hire a couple of costumes and we'll go try and win this, £1,000 worth of stereo. And he's like, you've planned this from day one. Ever since those girls said that they were going to leave for the weekend, you would do this. And he's like, how dare you? And he does the whole heartbreaks thing with his brother and whatnot.
You get the Capri gear.
It's it, yeah.
The Capri gear, show him how well you're doing.
That's it. So obviously he woos Rodney into doing it, and they drive to the ball. They're both dressed up as Batman and Robin. Obviously Rodney is Robin, Del Boy's Batman, and it's the 68 version of Batman as well, isn't it? So their car breaks down on the way there, doesn't it?
They keep it locked away. You don't see what they are. Like, it's hidden.
You don't see until the car breaks down.
Until the car breaks down, and then they're like, oh,
we have to run. We have to,
Well, they contemplate going back home and getting changed first, don't they? And then he's like, Del Boy's like, well, no, the party's 5 minutes away. We can just run there.
It's quicker.
I've kind of skipped a bit. So basically, there's a new councillor that's, started in Peckham, and she has essentially rejected a home improvement permit for Del Boy.
£5,000, isn't it?
That's it. So Del Boy's like pissed off of her. Anyway, they run into this party. She's at the same time getting mugged by this group of people. Yeah. And they're all like about to do
Literally, it's smoke and it's fog. And
then like see this thing in the distance. Oh, what's that? And it's these two running to the Batman theme in the smoke. They've all got their eyes lit open like, what the hell? Just seeing those two run is absolutely comic genius.
Literally, that's a moment that me and my family,
You've got to, right?
Laughed.
I mean, I believe after that episode came out, all the boxes had those two in the Batman suit on the front cover. No, everyone relates to Only Fools and Horses through that.
But they all stop. Even she stops getting mugged. And like the
That's what I'm saying. They all run away, don't they? Yeah.
They're just looking at her.
And he starts running towards the thing, but realises it's the councillor. And he goes back and says,
"Right, councillor.
Yeah, I'm Del Boy. I wrote to you. You rejected it, and all of a sudden,
it's
Rodney does the most typical Robin thing. He goes, Del, let's go.
Let's go, Del.
It is so good the way he does it. The music's still playing in the background as well. It is just comedy genius. But the icing on the cake of this is when they actually get to the fancy dress ball and realise that the geezer that's hosting this died the day before.
Yeah.
So they get there.
Boise opens the door.
Boise's open. He's in a suit, and then Del Boy goes, "Ha ha! We're dressed as Batman and Robin, and he's the Penguin. Ha ha! We're gonna win this!" And they run in. He goes, "Oh no! I'm more like the Joker." They run in and they spray in all whizzy. What's the little stringy silly string? That's it. And they're like, and everyone's like, "Oh, could you do this?" And like, this is when he says, "Oh, he died the day before." You could have bloody told me.
The son turns around and he says, "Don't worry," he said, "I loved it. My dad would have absolutely loved it."
Exactly.
Yes, they win in the end, don't they?
Exactly. So, did they win the?
There was no competition.
But
the councillor gives them the grant to do their home.
Exactly.
They see Trigger first, don't they? And he goes, yeah, I didn't get the message either. And he goes, and he's just dressed as a chauffeur, isn't he?
Yes.
Full suit. And he goes, I feel like a right idiot.
But yeah, I had to put this in there. Again, it was one I saw when it came out, and I go back to it nearly every year. And hence why I had to make the list. So yeah,
Brilliant.
That is my number 3. Over to yours, sir.
Well, in 2005, the greatest TV program ever returned to our screens, and the main character was played by Christopher Eccleston.
I did
Damn,
wonder if
feel
this
free
was,
to play the theme
I didn't think this was going to play.
Is it actually going to be? Oh, nice.
Well, the whole series plays out, and we suddenly realise that Christopher Eccleston is not sticking around as the Doctor. He's regenerating, and he regenerates very briefly into David Tennant. Now, it comes to Christmas Day, and a tradition is born. The Doctor Who Christmas special is aired that year, 2005, and we get David Tennant.
Yes.
The episode is absolutely brilliant, and I, as my personal tradition, I love it. And they've recently just brought it back. It's now a thing because it went away for a little bit. But the Doctor Who Christmas special is very much a staple in my house. Tennant absolutely proves himself as the Doctor with this episode. I mean, to be fair, he spends half of it comatose because he's just regenerated. He's trying to recover. Rose's
So clothes are too big, aren't they?
close to too big. Yeah, and Rose's
Christmas invasion, isn't it?
It's the Christmas invasion, yes. So the premise of the story is that he's mid-regeneration. He's still trying to recover. Rose is taking him back home to her flat with her mum. And her mum's all aghast because this guy that looked like Christopher Eccleston now looks like David Tennant. She's falling in love with David Tennant because it's David Tennant. So they put him in bed, and he's dressed up in a dressing gown, and he's trying to recover. But it turns out that, for fuck's sake, these pesky aliens are coming down to try and invade Earth on Christmas Day.
Of course.
As always.
As always.
Why
Many
wouldn't
many elements make up this episode. You've got a spinning Christmas tree that sort of shoots out, I think it's explosive balls, isn't it?
Yeah,
Why not?
balls. Get away from the Christmas tree.
Yeah. You've got alien androids dressed as Santa.
Robo Santas.
Robo Santas, yeah. So I think they're kind of harbingers for what is to come. They latch onto any big bad that's floating about in space, and they realise that they could kind of feed off the chaos and destruction that's about to occur. So you've got the Robo Santas who are down there leeching off of all of the carnage. Well, the big bad, the Sycorax, they all of a sudden they reveal that they are here on Christmas Day to invade Earth. Well, the British government needs the Doctor, but where is the Doctor? He's not present. So the now acting Prime Minister, Harriet... Oh, God, what's her name? Harriet... I've forgotten her name. Anyway, it will come back to me. So, yeah, she says, well, we need to find the Doctor. Where is he? Anyway, they try to negotiate with the Sycorax and basically say, well, we're not going to fall down at you, on our knees and give you exactly what you want, but we're gonna sort of bargain this one out. In the meantime, a lot of the members of her council are getting killed, and majority of the human race all of a sudden become possessed. They get taken over, and they start positioning themselves on the edges of buildings, on the edges of bridges. And so basically what the Sycorax have done, they've controlled a certain blood group within the human race, and they're basically saying, if you don't fall down on your knees and comply with our rules, we're going to kill half of the human population. Well, Rose gets involved, and Mickey gets involved, and so does Rose's mum, and you suddenly realise that shit's about to hit the fan. But the TARDIS turns up, and within it is the Doctor, and the doors fling open, and you see David Tennant in all of his glory, and basically he kicks ass. And it's such an enjoyable episode, and I loved it. And because it was set at Christmas, and they were starting a new tradition with this, and you knew that this was going to be a year after year thing. Yeah, I mean, I was invested from day one, of course I was, but yeah, just to see...
I'm surprised it's number 3. I thought Doctor would be number
higher.
1.
Not number 1, because my number 1 is very much a childhood kind of memory, and it will always be a number 1 because I was just when number 1 came out, I was all about this particular franchise and this particular character, and that's why number 1 is number 1. But yeah, I literally could have stuck any Christmas Doctor Who episode on this
I had
list.
Runaway Bride.
Okay.
My number 3, which I swapped for the BFG,
Right.
but that was the one I was umming and ahhing But yeah, I'm glad you kind of.
I nearly put Runaway Bride on
because I
there.
really like Catherine Tate.
Catherine Tate,
she was
love
brilliant.
Catherine Tate.
I liked her as a companion. I liked her before she joined. I know she was very loud, but I liked that episode.
There was a bit of a bone of contention when they said that Catherine Tate was going to be like the companion of that story and then going forward into series 4. Because, a lot of people thought, well, Catherine Tate, she doesn't quite fit the bill. I think Catherine Tate as Donna Noble is one of the best characters.
She was awesome.
She's brilliant. And people always talk about, when you talk about a Doctor and a companion, they go, oh, Tennant and Rose, or like Tom Baker and Sarah Jane.
I'm all for Martha Jones.
I'm Ace.
Oh, you're
Sylvester
McCoy.
Ace is mine.
Yeah, Ace is brilliant.
Only because I met Martha Jones.
Oh, you met?
I met her, yeah, Gatwick, yeah.
I love Freema Agyeman. I think she's such a beautiful woman.
Absolutely.
And much maligned. And funny thing is that I'm currently doing a rewatch of series 3 at the moment.
Okay,
with Martha
wow.
Jones, literally at the end. And we always talk about it, but for me it was always Tennant and Donna Noble.
Tennant,
I think Catherine Tate is brilliant. So yeah, I could have literally stuck any Christmas episode on this. They're all brilliant. But it's the Christmas Invasion because that was the first one. That was the one that started the trend. And yeah, number 3, mate.
No.
Number 3.
Because I was having the Matt Smith one, the Christmas Carol one.
Oh, Christmas Carol,
yeah.
that is very, very good. I like the time of the Doctor as well. That's the one where Smith sort of grows old on the planet Christmas.
What's the one with the Master? The 2-part, and he takes over.
That's when they kill him off, isn't
And
it?
That's when Tennant has his last days.
Which I liked because the first part was Christmas Day, and Christmas part 2 was New Year's Day, wasn't it? So the actual death of Tennant was on New Year's Day.
It was, and it was so poignant, and because you had Bernard Cribbins in it as Donna Noble's grandfather, and there was this really touching scene because for so many series they've been leading up to this premise that the Doctor will die when he hears the knock of 3, and all of a sudden the situation plays out. Tennant has saved the day. He's trapped in this cubicle. He's absorbed. He's trapped in this cubicle, but Wilfred Mott, who is Bernard Cribbins, is trapped in this other cubicle. And in order to be able to resolve the situation, one has to be let out. One has to sort of sacrifice himself because one's about to absorb a lot of radiation. And all you can hear is Bernard Cribbins just knocking on
4 times.
Crippen.
It's 4, not 3. And he's knocking on this glass panel. And you just see Tennant turn and realise that the harbinger of Doctor Number 10's death is one of his best friends, and it's Bernard Cribbins. And it's such a teary moment because you suddenly realise, because they are really good friends, and there's a touching moment in that episode where Wilfred turns to Dr. 10 and he says, I don't want you to die. You're the most wonderful man that I've ever met. And then he starts crying, and I start crying with him because Bernard Cribbins is such an amazing actor. It's such a heartfelt moment. But yeah, all of these episodes could have been added.
I still watch them to the day.
Yeah. Yeah, they're brilliant.
Specials.
They're brilliant, and I can't wait for the next one.
Bring it on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Christmas tradition.
Go to number 2s.
Number 2.
Back to Mario for the number 2, sir.
So my number 2 is one that I see probably more often than I'd like to admit. It's a TV show that I'd not like to admit watching, but it's a really enjoyable episode. And it is Friends, the one with the armadillo.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, okay.
So in the episode, Ben, Rossi's son, has lost kind of the way when it comes to Christmas. He's like, I want presents, I'm getting presents, you're getting me presents. Spoilt kid syndrome. So Ross goes out of his way to show him that actually Christmas is a bit more than that, and he goes to hire himself a costume, which is a Father Christmas costume. Unfortunately, because it's Christmas time, there are no Father Christmas costumes in any of the shops. So he turns up as the Christmas armadillo, which is the from Texas and is the rep for all southern states and Mexico. So
Holiday armadillo.
The holiday armadillo. It's such a great concept in that you turn I mean, the fancy dress for an armadillo is phenomenal in this show. Like I don't know any other anyone who would ever dress up as an armadillo in any other situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Or any kind of, unless it's going to an A party, but then there are better options than an armadillo. But he turns up with this thing, looks like an armadillo. He turns up to Ben and says, "Hi, Ben, I'm the holiday armadillo." And everyone's looking at him going, "What the fuck are you?" And it's just him trying to explain to Ben. And what turns out later is like he's trying to explain to Ben about Christmas, and then Chandler turns up in the Santa suit. And that's when Ross kind of goes full guns and he's like, who are you supposed to be? I'm the holiday armadillo. You remember? You're representative in the southern states and Mexico. And runs that whole joke the whole way through. Isn't
there a constant battle between the two?
There is a constant battle between the two. So, like, Ross will say one thing, and then Chandler will go, that's not Christmas. And then the two of them just battle backwards and forwards between what is, what isn't, trying to get the moral high ground and all this sort of stuff. But the episode ends with Phoebe writing a Christmas song. Oh, yeah. Now, previously, before this, Phoebe had performed a Christmas song in a previous episode of Friends. Only in this episode, she talks about a man with some vacant but caring eyes, who then informs her that her mum is dead in the oven in the kitchen.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What is it with you two and deaths at Christmas?
She sings this song.
Merry Christmas.
She sings the song, and that's really depressing. But this one she brings back, and she goes through each of them. But she sings the song. It's very, Happy Hanukkah, Monica, Happy Christmas. And then she gets to, and Joey, blah, blah, and she just rolls off. So she's got this lovely kind of finish to it, a silly song, everyone enjoying Christmas. But the best bit is the holiday armadillo, because, why do you need a holiday armadillo? You've already got.
Why do you not need a holiday armadillo?
Well, I think going forward, that's what it is, and that's what comes forward now.
So it's all just to get him back in the spirit of Christmas.
Trying to get Ben, his young son, back to understand exactly what Christmas is about. And of course, he can't get the Father Christmas outfit to kind of sit on Santa's knee, tell him what you want, and do the whole thing. No. It's the holiday armadillo because he can't get any other costume.
Isn't there a scene? It's been a while since I've seen it, where Monica turns to Chandler and goes, Can you leave the Santa Claus outfit on because I find it really hot?
Yeah,
and
she does.
He goes, is that okay? She
Yeah,
goes, yeah, hell yeah, it is.
I've got to take this back. And she goes, keep the outfit.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Inappropriate Santa stuff. but that's my number 2, Friends. I watch it quite regularly because it's on.
I love Friends. I think it's brilliant.
But there's more than one Christmas episode, isn't there, with Friends?
There is multiple Christmas episodes.
That's the most memorable one.
That's the one with the most Christmas kind of in one episode. There's loads where...
There's more Thanksgiving for them.
I was going to say, I like the Thanksgiving episodes.
Thanksgiving football game.
It's the best ever.
Brilliant.
I love that episode.
There's the one with the turkeys where Joey gets his head stuck in the turkey.
Right.
And then Monica gets her head stuck in the turkey, puts the sunglasses on, does a little shimmy dance. It's not a show that I would openly admit watching, but there are so many good episodes of that show. Yeah, I know. The internet now knows. But it is a show it's well written. It is cheesy. It is easy to watch. It is on everywhere at any time of the day.
I think it's still got its place in popular culture. You could look at it and think, it's a bit old hat now. And yeah, we all did Friends, and I still enjoy it. I wouldn't purposefully.
I don't put it on, but my missus always puts it on. But I have no issue just sitting there watching
because it was
watching
funny.
An episode of Friends, or if it stays on, it can just stay on. I've got no issue with it.
It's almost good background noise because you can phase in, you can.
I'm not putting it on, but I've got no problem. Watching it.
If there's nothing else,
it's like Modern Family. If it's on, you'd watch it.
That's exactly it. If it's on, there's no objection for me to turn it over, unless of course there's something else I want to watch. But if it's just I'm bumming around, there's nothing really. I just need some background noise or something to entertain me for a little while. Friends can quite happily go on. But yeah, that's my Christmas episode. Is Friends, the one with the armadillo.
Nice.
So
Over to Heisenbyrne.
Yeah, so we've got another clash here.
Oh,
with yourself.
With me?
Yeah, you're missing. You missed the greatest quote. Look after your broom.
Is this the one where he was going to get the award?
He's got the award.
That's it.
This is Heroes and Villains. Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, sorry,
like I said, like you said, it's one of those things that every family's pretty much gone through it. They've sat there. The Batman and Robin really resonated with me at that age because I got that logic, and it's only when you start watching it. When you're older, you start seeing all the other
Steve
stuff.
Rogers?
Yeah,
I understood that reference.
Was it Uncle Albert drinking Cassandra's?
The sample.
The apple juice is bad. But because was it Trigger gets his brew gets a medal for
fucking love that.
for having the same brew for 20 years.
It's really turns around and says, he said 6 heads and
17 new brew handles and 14 new heads. And he's like, how the hell is it the same new brew? It's just one of those things that is just always on, and I love it. And it also has, I think, one of the best foot chases of all time.
Yeah.
Like the muggers are, because this is one episode that is not. It's not a Christmas.
As I say, there's nothing Christmas about this episode. It's just the fact it was on Christmas Day.
Christmas special, wasn't it? It was just a holiday special. But the robbers and the muggers who were robbing the councillor are now robbing a little old lady.
Yep.
In the market, and like you say to Rodney, "Go on, chase him," and he's got this epic music, and he's chasing him for a good.
Doesn't he chase him aisle to aisle to aisle
down the road, like for a good 2 or 3 minutes? He's chasing him, and then you got Del Boy, and he's taking his big like suitcase, and it's like that scene out of Lot Stop.
Oh yeah.
That's it, yeah.
And he's following it for so long, and in the end, Del Boy just gives up, and he's like, "Oh."
Yeah.
And then Rodney catches up with the guy into an alley, and that's when the guy turns around and looks at him, and that's when
The chase reverse.
Rodney is like, "Oh shit!" The music kicks in and it runs back, and it's just the whole chase is just in reverse, and he ends up knocking him out. Del Boy knocks him out
With a suitcase.
takes all the full credit,
Yep.
and that's how he gets his reward from Councillor Murray. At the end, he gets his renovations.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, this is just one of those ones that, like, out of all the ones I can watch, this is the strongest sort of family resonance of a Christmas special that I can remember. If you know what I mean.
Same.
Like, as much as like it was just the howling of the Batman,
Yeah, I mean, my dad's brother lives in Australia, and I remember that he wanted us to record it for him, then send the tape to him. That's how much they wanted to see this episode, because it was so huge at the time. All people had heard about the Batman scene and stuff. So, I mean, that was the power of this episode, really.
I mean, that one, obviously, the Crackers one was good, and also the one where they become millionaire, like
the one where they actually get the what is it's the watch, isn't it?
Yeah, the watch. But this episode, the hero starts really weird. It starts in like
it's a dream sequence.
Yeah, dystopian.
2026, 2nd of November.
Yeah, the future, and it's like Trotter's condoms and Trotter's airlines.
Scene where Uncle Albert, he's a robot.
He's a robot.
It's the big neon sign, isn't it? Because
Damien's like Prime Minister or something.
Where Del Boy always has said, like, I can see it now. The initials, Trotters, Independent Traders,
Tit.
Bright lights above my head, and then Rodney laughing, going, "It's because you've got tit above your head."
And Del Boy's got the massive portrait of him behind him and stuff as well.
But this
is so good.
This is kind of built into British like pop culture.
Yeah,
like, this is
100%. Yeah.
I'm sure they don't sell that many Robin Reliance without this show.
No. It's just one of those things. I'll always watch it. But it's one of those specials that is always on UK Gold, because it's not a Christmas one. You don't feel like... Because I do not like kind of watching the Christmas ones when it's...
Out of season.
It doesn't have the same...
Doesn't have the same thing, does it? Yeah.
No, you end up watching it, but like that one, it kind of just feels like a good long episode. But yeah. Heroes and villains.
Nice. Good pick, sir. My number 2 then is... It's a Christmas episode, but it's not the greatest of Christmas episode. I put this in here because I absolutely love the ending to this. It cracks me up every time I watch it. My number 2 is The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, yeah.
Season 2, episode 11, The Bath Item Gift Hypothesis.
Yes.
I absolutely love this because basically Penny has bought a present for Sheldon.
Yep.
And Sheldon doesn't like celebrating Christmas because apparently if you go back to Christmas history, it's got something to do with paganism, and he doesn't like it. So when he finds out that Penny has bought him a gift, it's like, well, now I have to give something back. I can't just,
he can't think of what he has to get. He goes into like panic mode because what do you buy someone like her? Like for him, he knows what he wants, but for her, he hasn't got a clue.
So he goes with Howard and Raj to... It's like a body shop, isn't it? And he buys all these gift baskets. He's like, do you know what? I'm just going to buy all these. When I find out what her present is, I'll just find out how much it costs and I'll take the rest back and I'll give one the equivalent to the same amount of money because then I'm not losing money. Yep. That's how he sees it. It's a money situation thing with him. But again, like I said, forget the rest of the episode. Let's skip straight to the end, as Simon Pegg would say, and the reveal of the gift. So Penny gives him a gift and he's like, oh, it's a napkin. And she's like, yeah, but turn it over. And it says to Sheldon, live long and prosper, Leonard Nimoy. And he like, his legs wobble. He like, oh my God. And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you done this. And he goes, yeah, I'm sorry. He rubbed his mouth on it. So, but he signed it. And he goes, I possess the DNA of Leonard Nimoy.
Dr. Spock,
It's
Mr. Spock himself.
Exactly. No, all I need is my own cloning machine and I can grow my own Leonard Nimoy. He is so over the moon by it. He
gives it all the gift baskets.
Yes, he's like, wait here, I'll be back. And he just grabs them all and he throws them over to her. She's like, oh my God, Sheldon, what is all this? He's like, I know, it's not enough. And he's absolutely freaking out because this gift for him is just beyond words. And what does Sheldon do? He does the most un-Sheldon thing afterwards. And this is a guy who doesn't like crowds. He doesn't really like people.
Doesn't like human contact.
Doesn't like human contact. So what does he do? He hugs Penny. And it is the most awkward, weirdest looking hug it is ever. But the live reaction to the crowd watching this show being done, they are absolutely wetting themselves. And
that's brilliant.
My dad is a big fan of Big Bang Theory. This episode and another episode where Howard has the nut reaction are his most favourite episodes ever.
He fakes it to begin with, doesn't he? He's like,
that's it, yeah. And then he actually takes it.
Too big for my mouth.
Please help me. Those two episodes are be all end all his favourite. And I say the episode is not great, but it is worth being a number 2 just for that ending, just to see Sheldon pay her back as much as he could because he's just so over the moon with this gift. And I think that's the most human of Sheldon you see of him. Yeah. Like he just breaks.
There's a couple of times that he shows up like as a person, but most of the time he is as they call him, the android with genitals.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the way his legs wobble when he goes, it's Leonard Nimoy. And it had to go on the list. It's high up there purely for that ending. And that's why it's my number 2. Nice. Over to you, Howard.
Very good. Wow. Mine is not as jovial as that one.
Oh, death. Someone's going to die in this one then.
More twice. It just happens. My number 2 is Black Mirror, White Christmas.
Oh. Nice.
Brilliant.
I've not seen this.
Is this the one with Mad Men? The guy from Mad Men?
Yes. Yeah, John Hamm. Okay, so Black Mirror. We for anybody who doesn't know Black Mirror, it's Charlie Brooker's take on the darker side of society, mainly British society, but it incorporates a lot of Americanism as well. This particular episode concentrates on 2 characters who are seemingly isolated together within a log cabin within this icy sort of landscape. They've been there for 5 years. You don't quite know what the premise is, why they're there, but they have this sort of semi-pseudo relationship. You've got Matt and Joe, and Matt is quite open. He's cooking this Christmas dinner. Joe has just got up. He's grabbed himself a coffee. Matt says hi to Joe. Joe doesn't say anything. You realise that Joe doesn't speak a lot. He's kind of he's the singular character within this dynamic. Anyway, so they sit down. Matt tries to instigate a conversation with Joe. He says, "Look, we're stuck here. Let's have a bit of a chat. It's Christmas Day. I've cooked this meal, or this meal is on the go. Let's get to know each other a little bit more. It's been 5 years." So Matt starts relaying why he's kind of ended up in this situation. And previous to being here, he used to, I'd say, run a business. It wasn't a business. It was kind of like there was this product, and it was called. I'll have to write it down. It was called ZI Implants. Yes, but this is very Black Mirror, and I give Charlie Brooker his due because much like Star Trek, Black Mirror is very predictive of the things that are to come. They're just out of reach.
There's a good Star Trek episode in
there. There is a very good Star Trek episode, and they've actually done a sequel to that.
I was going to say, there's another one, isn't there? I can't wait for that.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So, ZI implants. And what ZI implants basically are, the premise is that you get these implants and then somebody else can be on the receiving end of what you see. So what this character of Matt has done, he's supplying this service where guys will go to bars or they'll go on a date, and essentially he's feeding them the lines to pick up women, to be able to seduce women. What the guys don't know, who have got these implants, is that along with Matt are like another group of guys who are they're like I don't know what voyeurs, I suppose you'd call them.
Yeah.
Watchers, yeah.
They're watchers, yeah. So they're watching through the eyes of the receiver. So whatever is happening, whatever happens after they've picked up these women, they will then witness that as well. But what happens with one particular character of Harry? Harry goes to a bar and he seduces Jennifer. Everything's going fine. Jennifer takes him back to her flat. She says, "Oh, let's take this concoction together." So he sips this drink, she sips this drink, and suddenly realises that he's entered into a suicide pact. Both the characters die. Matt's like, "Holy fuck, holy fuck, holy fuck." Everybody's witnessed this. He tries to cover this up and his wife finds out. And in this particular universe of Black Mirror, there's a thing called blocking. So whereas you could be blocked on Facebook or on WhatsApp or whatever, you're blocked in real life. So with blocking, you literally cannot see the person stood in front of you. They're just like white static.
Yeah.
So his wife blocks him. It then cuts back to the log cabin, and Matt continues to tell his story. He says, "Well, that's what happened to me. This led me into something else." He then ended up working for a company who produced cookies. Now, cookies in this world of Black Mirror were tiny digital clones of people who were trapped inside a digital egg, who would then act as this person's admin assistant. So you would essentially forgo all personnel admin. This little clone of yourself within this digital egg would do it all for you. It would make phone calls. It would send emails. It would essentially run your life. It would say, "Howard, you need to do this thing at this point on this day. Thank you very much, Cookie." And then Cookie would be trapped and you would carry on with your life. With the cookie simulant, you can control the environment. So you can fast forward the cookie, the clone, 6 months. So basically what happens is there's this particular cookie who wasn't behaving, saying, "Well, look, no, hang on a minute. No, I am me. I'm not a clone of this woman. I am the real person. That woman is a clone." So the character of Matt says, "No, you will comply." Fast forwards this cookie 6 months, says, "You've just lived 6 months of your life. How does it feel?" "Yeah, all right, I'll comply. Anyway, snaps back to the cabin. So you get the idea of the world that Matt lives in, the sort of things that he does for a living. Joe then opens up and he says, "Fine, I'll tell you my story." So basically, he was in love with this woman called Beth. They have a relationship. Beth then gets pregnant. Well, but during the course of the pregnancy, she then splits up with Joe. No reason given. She blocks him. So this blocking comes into effect again. So he cannot see Beth. Cannot see her at all. He's totally in love with Beth. Beth has the baby. He cannot see the baby by default as well. So he's literally torn to shreds. He's in love with this woman. He wants to see his child. He cannot see them. So Christmas after Christmas, he discovers that they go and stay with her father in a cabin out in the sort of the English countryside. And every Christmas, he goes and sees this sort of white static outline of a child and this outline of a woman. So it's good enough for him. Every Christmas he gets to see what is effectively his child and the love of his life. Years later, he learns that Beth dies in a train crash. Well, this switches off the block. He suddenly realises that he can go and see his child. So on Christmas Day that year, he goes to the cottage, and this child comes running out. Well, he suddenly realises that unfortunately the ethnicity of this child is unfortunately not his. And he suddenly realises that what this Beth had been doing, she'd had an affair. She didn't want to continue the relationship with him. She continued the relationship with the father of the child. This was the product of their love affair. Well, he's absolutely distraught at this. He makes his way into the cottage. He speaks to the father of Beth, and they get into a tussle. He accidentally kills the father. The child goes running out into the cold. You never see the child again. I think she actually dies of pneumonia. What does he do? Well, he runs away. So this is how Matt and Joe are in this cabin in this isolated wilderness. They've just told their stories. Matt turns, so this is in true Black Mirror fashion. Matt turns around and says, "Thank you very much." Snaps to a room. Well, he suddenly realises that Joe, this version of Joe, is a cookie. He's a digital clone. And what Matt has been hired by the authorities to get a confession out of Digital Joe.
Oh, Christ.
So Digital Joe has done his job. Real Joe is sat in a confession room, and they've gone, well, we don't need you to talk because we've got it right here in this cookie. Bugger. He's been convicted of murder. Well, basically, this version of Joe is then convicted to live his life 1,000 years over and over and over and over again. So they basically combine Joe and Cookie Joe, and in Charlie Brooker's twisted little
typical Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah. So Joe lives his life over and over and over again, but it's this one scene of him killing the father and the little girl running. Yeah. So that's it. So Matt then turns around to the authorities and he says, well, I've done my job. I can now go. And you think, well, hang on a minute, what's going on here? But you suddenly realise that earlier on in the episode, he admitted that he was involved with essentially the murder of 2 people. So the authorities say, right, well, considering that little thing that happened a couple of years ago, we are now going to convict you. He gets blocked from the rest of the world. So he cannot see any other living human being on the planet, and they cannot see him. So he gets his comeuppance because he was involved in the death of 2 people. It's very dark.
But it isn't every Black Mirror episode isn't it?
It makes you think, and you just think, Jesus Christ, this is actually the world that we live in, because it's literally just a stone's throw away from what could actually happen. Sort of human visual blocking, and it makes you think. The fact that it's set at Christmas, that's why I've called it a Christmas episode.
Yeah, but that's where Charlie Brooker gets his ideas from. Like, there's one with contact lenses that can record and stuff. That was like a thing he got from.
Well, this was an offshoot of that particular episode because he took that idea and then he pushed it a little bit further with the blocking idea. But you the contact lenses where you can see everything through the eyes of the other person, and it's very clever stuff. It's very twisted, but it just gets the little grey cells thinking, and that's why I like Black Mirror so much.
Very good pick, sir. Let's hope number 1's not too dark.
No, it's not. It's very light and fluffy.
Oh, good. Nice. Then let's go to the number 1s.
It's number 1.
So, come on, Mario. Let's start that again.
Come on, Hal.
It's number 1.
Come on in, Mario. The one that we've all been waiting for. What is it?
Okay, so it's an alien who really loves Donna Summer, who lives in a house in America.
Oh my God!
It is a 2-parter Christmas episode, and it is Alf.
Alf, of course, yeah, the one that eats cats.
The one that eats cats. So this is a Christmas episode. So the Tanner family decide that for Christmas they can't stay at home. They have to go to a cabin. So they all go off to this little log cabin with the family. They meet this man. I can't remember his name now. Mr. Fowley, who's making toys for the kids at the hospital. He's repairing broken toys, and they go off to the hospital. Somehow Alf falls into the sack that goes to the hospital and gets mistaken for a toy. So he gets handed out to this little girl, who they never quite openly say it, because it's an American kind of family time sitcom.
Right.
I say sitcom in the loosest sense of the word because it's an alien Muppet who loves Donna Summer and eats cats. So he discovers and goes through the hospital, and he meets this girl, and she is obviously dying of something, but you never quite find out that she's dying, just that she's really, really ill. And it just kind of makes Alf realise that the fragility of the human existence. Like he works out that, everything's going to come to an end, but everyone on Earth is different lives a different lifetime to him, and he works out this kind of happening within this sequence. He then works out that he has to go back to the family that he has left, because he now realises that actually, they are the people he wants to spend time with, that Christmas is about this family and this kind of giving, and he needs to go back and give to the family that have adopted him. But he gets lost in the hospital, and he comes back to the girl. And finally, what happens is he manages to find Mr. Fowley again, the guy that he mistook him, gets in the sack and gets dragged all the way back to the cabin, and he meets up with the family, who have been actively searching for him. They've been trying to find him. They don't know where he's gone. And then you get that kind of Christmas kind of spirit. They're all in there. Oh, we don't care where you've been. you're
with the family now.
Part
Yeah,
of our family. You're not this alien that joined us out of nowhere. We do really like you, despite everything you do and everything we do. You're actually part of this unit, and that's the Christmas thing. And they all do the Christmas the typical family Christmas things. There's a Christmas dinner. They watch Christmas TV. They do all that, and all with this big fluffy alien. Alf was like part of my youth. It was a show that I remember it fondly. I don't remember anything specific about the episodes, except
I don't even know what it's
one.
about, but I remember watching it because it was like 7 o'clock on Sky One or so.
Yeah.
And it was always like, but I couldn't tell you a single bit.
I think ITV had it.
Yeah, I didn't know he had cats. I watched it. I watched it on ITV. It was the thing. So when he crash lands in their garage, Superman style, he kind of gets out and the first thing he spots is a cat, and he sees it as food. And the Tanners have a family cat, and he's chasing it around the house, and he's always chasing it for food, and wears like the old bibs that kids have, and a knife and fork chasing the cat around. Marvel did a comic book series.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I used to collect the comic book series.
Yeah, nice.
I used to love it so much. It was such a different kind of alien character. And around the time that I was watching stuff like The Muppet Show, and we've established that Sesame Street was something that I watched quite regularly.
Dinosaurs.
Even into my teens. Yeah, Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is such a fucking amazing show as well, especially when you get to the end of it, because it starts really light-hearted.
It's depressing.
And then
It's
towards
one of the
the
most
end,
depressing endings.
Yeah.
But the episode where the family, the elders of the family, they reach a certain age and they go to a cliff to jump off the cliff.
Off it, yeah.
And it's just like, fucking hell, this is a kid's show on a Saturday afternoon.
No, but I'm very much the same vein as you with Alf, because I remember watching it, but I don't remember
You
of
couldn't
it.
pick an episode out.
And there used to be a guy I worked with at Blockbuster who was an absolute massive fan of Alf. And then when he was like, you remember he ate cats, right? And I'm like, no. And this is a kid's show. It's like...
And they had it in the comics as well.
Yeah.
In the comics, there's one where like the neighbourhood cats start going missing, and the family confront Alf about eating them. He goes, "I would if I could, but I can't." So there's all stuff like that. But Alf is one of those characters, like, it's forgotten in time, but if you bring up the doll or you show a picture of him, everyone knows who
who
I
it is.
used to have a cuddly Alf.
I wanted one so much. And it moved, didn't it? He danced.
I could picture him 100%.
The thing fell to bits.
That's what I mean. But you couldn't honestly tell me that you've like a specific episode. This is the one that sticks in my head because it's a Christmas one, and because it has all those heartfelt Christmas. It's the saccharine sick Christmas kind of thing. You know, he's done something wrong. He's making amends for it, but it takes a situation for him to learn about himself, not to be about himself, but to be about everyone else around him as well. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what that episode sticks in my head so much. But Alf as a character, like I say, I remember him. I remember loving him. I remember reading the books. Could I remember another TV episode? No.
So long ago.
No.
And it's one of those ones where I love Alf, but I can't even live in memory, A, recall, or B, remember the last time I even watched it.
No.
I can't even picture the theme tune, but there's not one bit of me that thinks, did you even like it? I know I liked it.
Yeah.
There was an animated series, right?
Yes, it
there
was.
was,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Saturday
I
mornings
swear
it
there
used
was,
to be on,
Yeah, very briefly. And that really did focus on
Wasn't
the
that because it was on his home
Did it
planet?
really?
Yeah, it really did. That was the big thing.
I'm struggling. It was on his home planet of Melmac, wasn't it?
It was Melmac,
Melmac,
yes.
Yeah, the cartoon was, yeah.
Yeah. There you go. My number one. Alf.
I honestly thought it was something else. I don't want to say it just yet because it might be Howard's.
Cool. I think I know what Howard's is, but I'm going to keep that under my hat.
All right. So wait, if he doesn't say it, then I'll say
keep it under
I thought it
my
was.
hat.
Under your hat.
Come on in, Chris. What is your number one Christmas TV special?
Number one is, so it was released the 29th of December 92. And it's one that I've watched many, many times. And I believe it was my number one for TV comedies of all time. And it is Merry Christmas, Mr.
Bean, yes.
Oh my God, yeah.
So this one is about...
Christ, that was season 3, that
Season
episode.
3, yeah.
Wow.
Bloody
Go
hell.
back and listen to that, folks.
Yeah, so for anybody who doesn't know who Mr. Bean is, he's a very awkward... I want to say like a genius. Like he's situational genius.
He's not a situation. He's an evil genius.
He's an evil genius.
He's an evil genius.
It's like-
He's a supervillain without a hero to battle against.
But this comedy spans from being... Because I was about 5 or 6, if you know what I mean. And it tickled me to watching it now.
Yeah.
You know, I still laugh at the same bits I remember laughing as a kid. Story starts with him going down to basically Harrods, parks where he wants, jumps into the store, doing his shopping. He buys one like Christmas bauble, and he then wants to check out the Christmas lights.
Is this
he?
also the one where he test drives a frying pan as well, or is that another episode?
No, that's a different episode. So this one, he takes it. He's looking at. He's trying to find a plug for like these, just like 6 lights he's got. He goes out the back and he takes out like the main fuse, the socket for the whole of the Harrods front door, and it just goes into pitch black. Comes back in, fires it up, and he counts it in. But what this has is one of the greatest sort of scenes, and it's the nativity scene. If you remember, he's doing the models with the little baby Jesus. And like, it's being too loud. He's like, shh, shh, shh. And then you got the red coats, and they come in with the armies like, do, 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 do. And then you have like the tanks come, and like the choppers come and takes baby Jesus away. He's taking it away, and then he has the shop assistant. He turns up as the copper, doesn't he? And he's like, huh. And he's like, carries it away. It's, for me, Mr. Bean is just so easily watched. It reminds me of great times, wholesome family fun. And
there were never very long episodes either.
It was 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Yeah, 25 minutes. And this one, after he's done his shopping, he goes to meet his partner. Because I think there's only about, I want to say probably about 10 lines in the whole thing. They don't say much. He's like, Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Well, he never did any episode. Like he was like,
but wasn't it meant to be made for like deaf people or something like that, or
allegedly,
or universal comedy? It's called, isn't it?
Why it's been sold to like so many countries. I remember I went on holiday in Cyprus and it was just in full.
India love him.
Yeah,
like it's one of those characters that because
he's like a god over there.
Yeah,
he's like a cow.
we laugh.
There's gonna be a statue of him out there or whatnot.
We laugh at him, but like because the whole history we have as India and a nation. Like you send Mr. Bean over there, it's like stupid British. It's really kind of poking fun at everything because he's an exaggeration of what you see English kind of situations to be, and very much like the John Cleese kind of character in Fawlty Towers. He's like an extension of that kind of, but he plays it out. Rowan Atkinson plays it really well.
Because as a kid you like the silliness, but as you get older you like how far and how clever Bean is, and like. Of him taking down the main tree in the square and driving it down. But it's the scene where the missus is standing in front of the diamond ring and she's like, points to the ring and he's like, He's like, and he goes in and buys the cardboard poster of the ring and he's well chuffed.
Yeah.
But the thing is, she's fuming. She wanted a diamond ring and she got it on with like a plane.
Yeah, that's right.
An air model. I was like, how is that fair?
Yeah.
But yeah, like he ends up giving his Teddy little pin eyes. Teddy. And he can't find anything on the telly, and he gets the knock on the door, doesn't he? And it's carol singers, and like he turns his chair around. He's sitting there, it's all good. And you think he's gonna go and offer her a chocolate. And
he shuts the door, doesn't he?
And he slams the door. So, it's just the perfect comedy timing for him. It's just like, and then there's so many things that have been ripped off. Like Friends ripped off the turkey.
Yep.
Like that's.
I was going to say, doesn't Bean have an issue with the turkey or something?
He's putting the tea kettle on his head, and even all the stuff that Monica and everything does. It's
there you go. See?
Totally ripped off from being Mr. Bean.
The original.
Is that on the same episode, the turkey? Is it that Christmas episode?
I think that's the Thanksgiving one.
Yeah.
No, the Mr. Bean version.
He gets his head stuck in the turkey, and he's like putting tea towels on him. Oh, yeah, it's just
lazy.
It's just I just love Mr. Bean so much, and it's just I cannot love it any more than I do, and it's something that I'll always watch and I'll always treasure it. And obviously when we get to watch it
every year.
I
Nice.
mean, I watched it last night just to,
in preparation.
Make sure you remembered it fondly,
just to get the impression down to a T.
But I was pissing myself. I was like, "This is how you know it's still." And I'm on my own, just like. It's like chucking it away. It's like I didn't care that it was a Christmas episode in November. Like I never for Christmas episodes. Well, no, it's actually Christmas. Sorry, guys. Don't want to ruin the facade.
It is now. It's the
It's Christmas time. Yeah. So Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean. And if you haven't watched them, you're in for a joy.
Nice. Good pick. My number one. This is really weird because this is going to be a TV series that is a comedy, but this episode is quite emotional for me, so I'm going to try and not get too emotional about it. But my number one is Home Improvement.
Yes.
Season 1, episode 12. Y'all better watch out. So anyone who doesn't know what Home Improvement is about Tim Allen, who is known as Tim the Toolman Taylor. He runs his own TV show about home improvements, DIY. Anyone 90s nostalgia knows who he is. Anyway, the show is always cut in two halves. You've got his work life, which is the TV show, and then you've got his home life, which is all the family. So the work side of it is that Tim is sort of like in competition with one of his neighbours to try and get the best decorations of his house, and it's a battle between the two neighbours. And the second half of it is he's got three boys. So there's Brad, there's Randy, and there's Mark. Brad and Randy are the two oldest ones. Mark's the youngest out of the three. Obviously, the two brothers they don't believe in Christmas anymore. So they tease their brother to say, "Look, Santa's not real." Not only is he not real, he's been dead for 6 years. which is obviously the lifespan those two boys had with Santa. Yeah. So their time of it's gone. Now Santa's dead. Bollocks to you, basically. Jeez. And he really goes into it. Like he gets all sad and upset, and he goes and tells his mum, which is Tim and Jill. And then they come back to Tim again, who's still putting these Christmas lights up and whatnot, but he also has an accident. He trips and he gets his hammer stuck on his lip, which is brilliant. And I swear this is where Disney got the idea for the Santa Claus, is that part when he does it with that.
I was just about to say, this sounds like the Santa Claus.
It does sound like that. But going back to Mark now. So Mark obviously goes and questions mum and dad, Tim and Jill, about Santa. And they're like, it's a typical question every kid says. How does he get the presents in the sack? And how does he go around the world and deliver to kids and all that? And they come up with all these silly excuses, like they fold the presents in the bag and all this sort of stuff. Whatever it is, just to keep this kid's imagination alive. And that's why I've kind of brought this up, because at the moment, I think I'm at the last cheers with my daughter. It's kind of like, I wanted to still sort of, she's 10 now, but I still wanted to kind of and keep her going with it as long as I can. And the issue with it is because my other daughter's disabled, she will never know what Christmas is. So we try our hardest every year to get her to know what it is, but our main focus is the eldest. So that's where I kind of like this with Mark. So basically, Tim has a neighbour called Wilson, and he's one of those characters where you never see his face.
It's
just the hat and the eyes.
The eyes, but also like his shoulders every now and then, the silhouette,
And this is it. And he goes to Wilson always for advice. No matter what the episode is about, he always asks Wilson for advice of that episode. So he says to Wilson, what do I do? Mark is starting to not believe in Christmas. He's my last baby. What do I do? And he says, just tell him to keep believing. He says, yes, but Mark and Randy have told him, Randy and Brad have told him that he's dead. And Wilson, being Wilson, says, well, Santa has died. He died 400 years ago, but his spirit lives on. And that's where it kicks into to Tim. And he says, you know what? I'm going to try and figure out any excuse to keep him going. So he goes back, and then Mark comes up with another question. And then Tim and Jill look at one another and says, I think we need to tell him. It's time to tell him. So they're about to go and tell him Santa's not real. And all of a sudden, stop. There's a knock at the door. And Santa walks in.
Yeah.
It's clearly Wilson dressed up as Santa.
Just the eyes.
Okay. And even like
the voice.
The voice. He
doesn't hide the voice.
The posture, everything, it's Wilson. But to Mark, it's Santa. And straight off the bat, Randy and Brad are like, that's Wilson, that's not it. And then Jill and Tim are like, shh, keep quiet. And Santa says to Mark, I hear you want a remote control dinosaur for Christmas. And you are the only one who believes in me. So I will give you what you want, Mark. Here it is. here's the batteries for it. And he's like, wow, it's not even folded. So he's like, took what his dad and mum have said to like keep it alive, and Brad and Randy like, can I get a present? And he's like, well, you didn't believe in me, so you have a rubber band and you have a button. And he says to Mark, thank you for believing in me. You're the one that's keeping my spirit alive and stuff. And it's really getting to me at the time because it's like, I kind of have to do this for my baby as well. But anyway, he goes off and, they say goodbye to Santa. Mark says goodbye to him. And then they're like, oh, that was really nice of Wilson to do that. And they're like, you mean that Wilson? Who's still in his garden at the time. So Mark runs out very quickly and sees Santa sleigh away into the sky with the most happiest face you could ever see in a child's face. And it just reminds me of all the videos I've got from the last 10 years of my daughter just lighting up for Christmas morning and everything. And I'm going to be so sad when that is over. So it just really hit me on an emotional level. As a kid, I remember this episode like anything. But as a parent, it was there. And I was like...
Stay strong.
So keep it together. But yeah, fantastic episode. But like the other shows we mentioned, there is a Christmas episode every time, and they get funnier and funnier as the home reports. But this was the one that just was,
it was a great show.
Keep it alive,
It was a really good show.
So
I always watched it.
Without that show, you don't get Pamela Anderson.
You don't. She was in the first two seasons, wasn't she? Yeah.
You're right.
That's right, yeah.
She was his assistant, yeah.
Sister, yeah.
God bless Home Improvement.
Exactly. That's my number one. Let's
Great
hear
choice.
Howard's hopefully no death
Hold
one.
on. I've got a theory here because my leading man in one of my episodes, one of my series, led into yours. I think yours is going to lead into Howard's, but we'll see. This is my theory right now.
Let's see the theory gets.
Oh, damn it. I am. I'm about to be disappointed, aren't I?
Firstly, how the hell can I follow that?
Yeah, I finally got one heck and follow that.
We're going to go to Eternia.
Damn it!
No way! Seriously?
dude.
Oh, I wanted to be Blackadder's Christmas special,
No
but it's not.
way.
Is it?
I thought about it, and it's on my honorary
Yeah, it's
mentions.
on mine.
but-
Number 6.
Yeah, no, because you know how much I love Blackadder.
That's exactly where I was going.
And I
with it,
really
yeah.
thought about it, but this is purely the reason that Doctor Who wasn't even number 2, it was number 3. This is number 1.
He-Man, wow.
He-Man and She-Ra, the Christmas special.
I didn't even
Wow.
think of it. I really didn't even
I'm
think
really
of it.
surprised it's not on your list.
Unreal, yeah.
Because you are the He-Man fan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
The reason it is my number 1 is that because when it came out, we got it on VHS, and although it was a made-for-TV special that aired in America, it wasn't really prolifically shown in the UK. So, yeah, we got it on VHS, and we watched it to death. Loving He-Man at the time. And this was He-Man and She-Ra. So
Yep.
She-Ra was fully integrated into the He-Man universe. Princess Adora had become part of the family. And this was all like the kind of the normal setup. So the premise of this episode was that they're setting up for some sort of celebration on Eternia. It's not necessarily Christmas, but it's the time of year that they celebrate something. Oh, no, it's Adam and Adora's birthday.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Adam and Adora's birthday. I'm struggling to remember here. They've also so Man at Arms has constructed the Sky Spy, and this was a ship designed to sort of fly over
Perv on everyone.
Perv on Skeletor.
Sounds familiar.
Perv on Skeletor specifically to fly over Snake Mountain and the sort of locale of terrain.
And that's the idea of drones was born.
Well, yeah, ahead of its time. So yeah, the Sky Spy is there. Orko basically busts into the Sky Spy, and it shoots off, and he's trapped inside. He realises that he's made a bit of a boo boo, so he tries to cast a magic spell, and accidentally projects himself to Earth. So he crash lands on Earth, where he meets Miguel and Alicia, 2 human children who are out in the forest, in the snow, looking for Christmas trees. Well, they step on board the Sky Spy and talk to Orko, realise that he's this alien wizard from another dimension. What the hell? And they teach him all about Christmas. which is essentially the plot of the film. It's about the belief of Christmas and the ethos and the goodwill aspect.
Nice.
So they teach Orko about Christmas. In the meantime, Man-at-Arms and Teela and everybody, they're trying to get the Sky Spy and Orko back from wherever the hell that he's banished himself to. They need a particular type of crystal in order to work this sort of ray that would absorb them back into the universe. This is down to Adora now, because Adora goes, I have one. I know where I can find one on Etheria, essentially my home planet. So as she goes to Etheria, and then there's a little bit of an adventure about getting this crystal. All very nice, all great. And we see more of Etheria within the He-Man universe, and they fight monsters and machines, and it's great. So back on Eternia, Skeletor has actually followed the ship to, as far as I remember, he follows it to Earth and then back to Eternia. So they suck this ship back from Eternia, but realise there's 2 children on board. So these 2 children now on Eternia, the premise is, how do we get them back to Earth? The Queen, who obviously is a human from Earth, because the king married a human, and so she starts talking about the fact that there's Christmas celebrated on Earth. The children buy into this. Why don't you have Christmas on Eternia? There's kind of this underlying theme. In the meantime, Horde Prime has gone to Hordak and Skeletor and basically said, I can't remember what is he I can't remember what he wanted. I think he needs to destroy the children. The children need to be destroyed because otherwise they're going to bring goodwill to
hope it's
hope and goodwill and love and all this sort of thing to Eternia, which would sort of affect Horde Prime's grip over the planet at the time. So go and destroy the children. This will solve this situation, and then I can instigate my evil plan. So. Hordak.
Maniacal laugh.
Oh no, it's Skeletor.
Remember,
He-Man. So,
never run with scissors.
Yeah, absolutely. And get jet sleds the way out of there. So basically the situation ends up where Skeletor finds the children, but for some strange reason, he's been affected by their love and belief of Christmas, and he's been affected by the Christmas spirit. And he defends the children against Hordak and Horde Prime and fends off Hordak.
With Christmas magic.
With Christmas magic and love and belief and spirit.
Sounds like a Care Bears episode.
Skeletor stare.
There's one of the greatest lines ever, and he goes, oh, you're really nice. He goes, no, I am not nice. I am Skeletor. I am not nice. Am I nice? So, he starts getting affected. And the whole theme of the entire episode is about Christmas and getting together and families, and everybody's really nice to each other at Christmas time. It's a typical sort of He-Man episode, and it ends typically where Skeletor goes back to Snake Mountain, Hordak goes back to wherever he goes with his tail between his legs. The children go home. Orko manages to get them home, and everybody celebrates Christmas on Adam and Adora's birthday. It's a little bit of a show for She-Ra more than He-Man. He doesn't play a really big part in this, and it ends with Adam dressed up as Santa Claus, and he's dishing out presents to the rest of the palace. And it's just a really nice cartoon, and it's much the same as what you were saying, Chris. It's one of those things that I grew up with this, and it's such a homely, heart-warming feeling whenever I watch this, especially at Christmas, because this was the thing that we always watched. This is one of my earliest memories of a Christmas special, and it's He-Man.
Nice, man.
Yeah, that's why it's my number one.
Nice.
I can't top your number one.
No, but still, it's a good pick, though. I mean, I never even knew there was a Christmas special. I love He-Man, and I never knew there was a Christmas special.
I don't remember this episode at all.
Oh, you don't remember it?
No, I don't remember it at all.
Right.
I remember there being crossovers with He-Man and She-Ra, but I don't
I remember that. But I never remember a Christmas
there
one.
was the Sword of Power.
Yeah.
So where we find out that there is
a twin sword, and it's on Etheria. Yeah,
and it's Etheria, and She-Ra is in existence, and we learn about Hordak and that sort of thing. This was hot on the heels of that successful cartoon. So yeah.
Nice pick. Any honourable mentions? But before we do that, I thought you would have the Star Wars Holiday Special in there.
It nearly went there, but another one almost went on my list as well.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas.
Yeah, of course!
No, I nearly put it on there because I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here.
Yeah, when they steal Kevin Bacon.
So that was what was going to replace my Only Fools and Horses, and that was what I kind of went, do you know what?
I'm glad you kept it, though.
Only Fools and Horses stays in there.
Yeah.
If nothing else, but for my nan. But yeah, that Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
It was a good
I was
episode.
umming and ahhing whether it classed as a Christmas special because it's not TV, it's based on a film, it's got all the actors in it. However, it's less than an hour long.
Yeah, I'd
And
say
I think it just,
But it was on TV.
and it was on the streaming service, TV.
I'd say it's a TV.
Streaming is
I'd
now
say-
TV.
It's not canon with the film as much,
No,
is it?
not
So
at
I
all.
would say it's a TV
It
one.
sits comfortably in the same category as the Star Wars holiday special.
Yeah,
so
totally.
much fun. It's when they the greatest bit about it is that bloody song, and the
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
play
yeah.
that
Yeah,
every year
yeah.
as a Christmas
Oh, really?
song.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's such a fun kind of, the band in it are absolutely rubbish, and they're like, oh, come on, we've got Star-Lord, we've got this amazing song we've written you, and it's about Christmas, and it sums up Christmas from aliens witnessing it, not actually understanding it, and it's done so well.
But they get it on point.
They get it on point. Even
though it's all wrong.
Yeah. Santa shooting mince pies at your feet because shoots missiles at your toes instead of mistletoe. Like, genius. And then stealing Kevin Bacon.
But the whole Mantis and Drax thing
having to get Star-Lord,
so well done.
Trying to get him his best present to make him cheer up.
Yes.
And they get the two most bumbling idiots to do it. And they get...
Well, they always had this thing where Drax never really liked Mantis. So it was a nice little come-together story for those two, work together sort of thing, isn't it?
He does like
Oh, yeah,
Mantis.
he does, yeah. But when he first met her, he's like, I don't like it. It was in two, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she can control him.
That's it.
But also at the very end when he talks about family and stuff, because Mantis says, well, you're my brother and I am your sister.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing, wasn't it? And I
Definitely.
think, it had a lot of elements that you should have put it on.
I should have done.
Yeah.
It was such a good episode.
There we go. It's an honourable mention. It's take more time than some of our actual mentions.
Anyone else got honourable mentions?
Yeah, well, I mean, pretty much all the Doctor Who's.
Yep.
The Last Man on Earth, the Secret Santa.
I've never seen that.
Oh, Last Man on Earth, that's brilliant.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Glow, did you ever watch the rest
I
of it?
know Glow, yeah.
Glow,
Of
Christmas
course,
episode.
yeah,
I've not finished that
Great
yet. I still
episode on
need to
that
go
one.
through that.
Malcolm in the Middle, trying to get Hal's perfect gift.
Jesus, yes.
The Blackadder one.
Yeah.
And Futurama Xmas, the first introduction of RoboClaws.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And obviously
Good shout.
The Wrong Trousers.
Yeah, all day long.
Wrong Trousers.
Had to get Wallace and Gromit in there.
Yeah, honourable mention there. But yeah, I think that's Bottom Holy.
Oh, yeah, so,
I forgot that, yeah.
I totally forgot that.
Bottom, Blackadder, all of the Doctor Who's.
Yep.
That was pretty much everything that I was going to talk about, because if I hadn't put some of these sort of left field ones in there, those would have
I
been
realised
the
I
ones
was
that
going to do
would've
the same list as it was Gavin and Stacey.
Yeah.
It was Bottom. It was Mr. Bean. I was like, oh my god,
Most influential is coming back again.
All British stuff.
But that's what we watched at Christmas.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Homegrown.
Absolutely. And that's why it's on our lists. So, yeah.
because I always had like a young, so it always had to be wholesome. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty much family. It was what my parents wanted to watch, and it sort of filtered down.
Nice. But, gentlemen, we have come to the end of season 9.
We have.
What a ride, eh? Only 10 episodes, but what a ride.
It's been emotional.
Think we ended it on a good one?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Well,
It's been good fun.
this is down to you, folks. You tell us exactly what you think. Comment below.
Please.
And
Yeah.
like and subscribe. It goes a long way to helping us create more of this.
And we've got more stuff in the pipeline before season 10 as well. So stay tuned and we'll keep it stumped for now. But stay tuned.
I need to tell everyone.
But it's got to do with the B side of M.T.V.B, right?
That's it.
Do you want to tell them or do you want to leave it?
no.
Everything needs a B-side, and we've got a B-side.
We've got a B side.
It's a Christmas cracker for sure. So yeah, we'll leave this until the new year.
Nice. And obviously, stick around for Commentary Corners. They'll be playing at the time of recording this, aren't they? So for Christmas. And then that we will be done till the new year, obviously. And yeah, stick around and see what's to come. But again, a big thank you from me to all of you here. And thank you to you two for starting this channel. And, you know,
Yeah, thank you guys.
A spark of inspiration.
without you, there is none of this.
No.
A big thank you.
Without everybody, there is none of this. So
Yeah, so obviously to Chris and
thank you.
to Gal, to Dave,
Yeah.
to Stuart from Legends of Podcasting. Thank you for being on season 9.
And for Johnny
Johnny
I know
boy.
you're
Oh,
in a
and
better
John, of
place.
course, yes, and he's spooktacular, and then he was like, no, never again.
And he's now
ruined it.
watching his Mrs.
Brown.
Brown Boys.
Yeah, you go and enjoy that at your Christmas, sir. But a big Merry Christmas from all of us.
absolutely.
A Happy New Year, And we'll leave it there, guys.
We'll leave it there.
We'll leave it there. So, big thank you for watching and hitting that play button. And, we'll sign off there. Follow us on Facebook at the M.T.V.B Podcast and TikTok at M.T.V.B Podcast or on Instagram at M.T.V.B Podcast. I'm joined by myself, Antman.
Captain Two Lists.
Supa Mario!
And Heisenbyrne.
And we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next year for Season 10. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.